Chapter 3958. I invite you all to die. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. He didn't sense anyone nearby, but since he heard a voice, he stopped. He was curious who could evade his perception. Scanning the area, he realized it wasn't a person but a series of formations distributed throughout the void. Each formation was tiny, condensed into a divine rune only the size of a palm, and equipped with concealment features. Placed in the vacuum and merged with dazzling Great Tao power, they were extremely inconspicuous. In reality, there were quite a few of these formations, one every few million miles.
Quite creative.
Lin Moyu thought, seeing through the formations at a glance. The formations themselves weren't rare, but the idea was novel. They only had a transmission function. He wondered what they were for. Moments later, the void twisted and a person appeared nearby.
A world lord from the Jianmu Great Spirit Domain.
Lin Moyu recognized the person instantly. He was a world lord from Jianmu, and his aura gave him away. The newcomer greeted Lin Moyu with a fist salute, then tossed out an array disc. The disc activated, warping the void and forming a barrier array. In the next moment, several people emerged from the formation, one of whom Lin Moyu recognized as the Woodkill World Lord.
Lin Dao friend, it's been years. How have you been?
Woodkill greeted Lin Moyu with a smile. Lin Moyu returned the courtesy.
Senior Woodkill, it's been a long time. What brings you here?
The answer was obvious. The Void Soul Pills. And with so many people showing up, their intentions were clearly not friendly.
We're here for the Great Tao Soul Refining Pills.
Woodkill said directly. There was a hint of embarrassment in his eyes. Though he hid it well, Lin Moyu only barely sensed it. Lin Moyu realized Woodkill probably hadn't come willingly but was forced by the others. Counting Woodkill, there were 9 of them, all top world lords, each nearly as strong as a Great Tao Lord, especially with the support of their world's will. Outside their own worlds, they might even rival ordinary Great Tao Lords. Lin Moyu grew wary.
I don't have any Great Tao Soul Refining Pills right now. If I make more in the future, I'll come to Jianmu to find you, Woodkill.
Woodkill looked slightly embarrassed.
Could you refine a batch for us now? We need them urgently.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I have urgent matters myself and can't spare time to refine pills.
Woodkill asked.
Then could you at least share the refining methods so we can make them ourselves?
Lin Moyu sneered.
Senior Woodkill, that's asking too much.
Woodkill sighed.
It's true we're putting you in a difficult spot, but we have no choice.
At this point, another person interjected.
Enough nonsense. Either you refine the pills for us, name any materials you want. We'll get them, or you give us the recipe. 2 choices, pick one, don't waste our time.
Lin Moyu looked at him coldly.
And who are you? Name's Gale World Lord.
He replied loudly. Lin Moyu said,
Staying to refine pills for you is impossible. As for giving you the recipe, even less likely.
Woodkill tried again.
Lin Dao friend, is there really no room for negotiation? If you have urgent matters, we can help.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No negotiation. My business is my own. Don't force me, or things will get ugly for everyone.
Woodkill began.
But...
Someone else cut him off.
But what? Last time I said we should keep this kid here, but you insisted on letting him go. If we'd acted then, we wouldn't have this trouble. Our soul marks would be gone by now. Don't blame Woodkill. Last time, number 1 went after him and still let him slip away, shows how slippery he is. We weren't prepared then. If we're ready now, this Tao Lord can't run far.
Only now did Woodkill realize Lin Moyu had become a Tao Lord. Last time, he wasn't even at the first level of the Soul Tao. But even then, Lin Moyu's combat power was terrifying, stronger than many Tao Lords. Now, as a Tao Lord, he might be even stronger. Judging by Lin Moyu's calm demeanor, it was entirely possible his combat power surpassed Woodkill's own. Woodkill's mind raced and he quickly made a decision. Lin Moyu had already figured out their intentions.
You want the Great Tao Soul Refining Pills to erase the soul marks left by the human sovereign, right?
He laid it out plainly. The world lords' faces changed, they knew they'd slipped up.
So what if we do?
One said coldly. Lin Moyu looked at Woodkill.
Since the pills can erase soul marks, I suppose you've already cleansed yours, Senior Woodkill.
That explained why Woodkill didn't want to be here. He'd already used the pills Lin Moyu sold him, kept most for himself, and only shared a few with the others. Woodkill nodded slightly, confirming Lin Moyu's guess. He then said,
Honestly, I was forced to come. You said you'd return, and I believed you would, but they were too impatient. I apologize, it's my fault. No matter what happens next, I won't be involved. If they try to kill you, I won't allow it.
Another said,
We don't want to kill him, just his pills.
Woodkill nodded, bowed to Lin Moyu, and withdrew 1,000,000 miles, making it clear he was out of it. Lin Moyu thought,
He really is clever, he must have figured out something about me. Hence the sudden change in attitude.
Since Woodkill had made his choice, Lin Moyu didn't care to argue. To Lin Moyu, these powerful world lords weren't much trouble to kill. He looked at the remaining 8.
Seniors, I offer you a choice. Leave now, or die here.
Woodkill, having retreated, felt a chill. He realized he'd made the right choice. Lin Moyu's calmness showed he didn't fear them at all. The others, unaware of Lin Moyu's true strength, found his words laughable and looked at him with scorn. After a few seconds, Lin Moyu sighed.
It seems you've made your choice. In that case, I won't be polite, please. All of you, go to your deaths.
Chapter 3959. We should talk. The phrase,
I invite you all to die,
was uttered so calmly, without a hint of hostility. Yet it sent a chill of murderous intent through the Woodkill world lord. Origin energy surged through the void as Lin Moyu instantly elevated his realm. Everyone present heard a sound like shattering glass, a strange aura mingling with origin energy and boiling in the void like fire. The 8 remaining world lords all changed expression, their souls trembling as if they'd seen a ghost. The being before them no longer seemed human, but a terrifying monster.
What's going on? Why can't we sense his realm? He has an origin secret art, he's using it to raise his realm. This is bad. He must have broken through to the Tao Lord realm.
Sensing the danger, the Woodkill world lord immediately retreated far, far away. The other 8 also tried to retreat, but were a step too late.
Great Tao world extinguishing palm.
Lin Moyu struck with full force, holding nothing back. In the void, a colossal palm print appeared, spanning billions of miles, freezing the entire void as if time itself had stopped. The 8 world lords were trapped as if countless hands held them fast, unable to move. The Woodkill world lord was lucky he'd escaped the palm's range, and more importantly, Lin Moyu hadn't targeted him. He watched in awe as the palm descended, great Tao power erupting in a terrifying spectacle. The void shattered in layers, as if it would pierce the soul void itself. Countless Taos collapsed, absorbed by the palm and unleashed in an even more terrifying form. He saw with his own eyes as the 8 world lords threw everything they had at the attack, but it was useless. Their defenses collapsed in an instant. Before the palm, they were annihilated, leaving nothing behind. After countless years of cultivation, their lives ended in a single moment.
To cultivate all one's life, only to die like this, how pitiful.
The Woodkill world lord sighed. He felt little for the others. They had only come together for a common cause and often disagreed. Everyone had their own agenda, their own selfishness. This time was no different. If they hadn't forced him to come, they wouldn't have died. He comforted himself and felt no guilt. Such people either get stuck in dead ends or quickly move on. Now he felt nothing for the 8's deaths.
Better them than me,
he thought. After 3 rebirths, Lin Moyu looked at the new karmic ties on his body. The 8 he killed were all world lords, each connected to a world. Their karmic weight was not small. Still, he felt no regret. He turned to the Woodkill world lord.
Woodkill Tao friend, we should talk.
The Woodkill world lord's heart skipped a beat. Lin Moyu, having just annihilated 8 world lords, was now awe-inspiring. He couldn't even meet his gaze. Even the way Lin Moyu addressed him had changed. Before, he'd called him
Senior.
Now it was just
Dao friend.
but he dared not object even if Lin Moyu called him
Littlewood.
He'd have to accept it. This was no ordinary person. As a Dao Lord who could kill 8 top world lords with a single palm, if he ever became a great Dao Lord, he might even be able to fight the human sovereign. The Woodkill World Lord flew over, clasped his fists, and apologized.
I apologize for what happened. When I return, I'll gather all sorts of top materials as compensation.
He was quick to make amends, afraid that if he upset Lin Moyu, he'd be killed as well. Lin Moyu replied,
I understand your sincerity. You were forced into this. Why not tell me the truth, what's really going on with you 9?
The Woodkill World Lord sighed.
It's actually rather ridiculous. The 9 of us met during a mission to hunt a great Dao Desolate Beast King and formed a secret group called Anti-Sovereign, meaning to resist the human sovereign. We weren't close, just shared a goal, to rid ourselves of the soul marks the human sovereign planted in our souls.
Lin Moyu found it laughable these 9, with their strength, had no right to resist the human sovereign. If they'd known the truth, they'd have been swatted like flies.
Tell me about the soul marks.
Lin Moyu said. The Woodkill World Lord explained.
The human sovereign and the Jianmu Emperor worked together to set up a trading market in the Jianmu Great Spirit domain, promoting soul pearls. Soul pearls are refined from void beasts. Absorbing them strengthens the soul. In truth, we all became world lords thanks to them. The human sovereign deserves credit for that. Everyone in the Jianmu domain owes him, and all contribute a bit of faith power to him. That's part of his goal.
He paused, then continued.
But we didn't realize the soul pearls contained soul marks. When we refined them, the marks became deeply embedded in our souls, almost impossible to remove. Our first priority was to get rid of them and gain freedom. What do the soul marks do?
Lin Moyu asked. The Woodkill World Lord shook his head.
I don't know. They've never activated, and most people don't even know they exist. Even if they did, no one would dare say so. The human sovereign's authority is absolute.
Lin Moyu understood.
Let me see a soul mark.
The request made the Woodkill World Lord uneasy.
But my soul mark has already been erased. That's simple.
Lin Moyu said.
Just find someone else with a soul mark, I'll wait here.
His tone was commanding, he gave no choice. Nor did he fear the Woodkill World Lord running away. His world was easy to find, and he'd be afraid Lin Moyu would tell the human sovereign about the erased soul mark. The Woodkill World Lord could only agree and went to find someone. Since they weren't far from the Jianmu Great Spirit domain, it wouldn't take long. Lin Moyu didn't idle while he waited. He continued fusing DAOs and collecting origin aura to fill his bottles. Chapter 3960. The Human Sovereign's Path. 5 days later, the Woodkill World Lord dragged over a soul. This was a 3rd-level Great Dao cultivator, not particularly strong or weak, the kind of existence common in the Jianmu Great Spirit domain. Woodkill had knocked him out and brought him as a sample for Lin Moyu to examine.
Lin Dao friend, please take a look.
He activated the cultivator's soul, making it quickly turn transparent. Deep within, a soul mark slowly emerged. The soul mark was deeply hidden even when revealed. It was still faint and unclear. Lin Moyu observed it quietly. The mark resembled a divine rune, but it was not the same. He frowned slightly. He had seen something similar before. On the Redstone Emperor's true body, the claw marks contained similar runes. The difference was that the runes on the Redstone Emperor were much more complex, while the soul mark was much simpler. Lin Moyu couldn't determine the soul mark's exact purpose, so he memorized it and asked,
Are all soul marks the same?
Woodkill replied honestly,
Exactly the same, no difference at all. When I discovered the soul mark, I compared it with many others, including other world lords. Lin Dao friend, did you find anything?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Nothing. It seems only the human sovereign understands the soul mark. That's enough for now. I have things to do. When I'm done, I'll visit you in the Jianmu Great Spirit domain.
Woodkill breathed a sigh of relief.
I'll prepare as many materials as I can.
Lin Moyu said.
I won't take advantage. I'll give you some great Tao soul refining pills in return.
Woodkill looked delighted and bowed deeply.
Thank you, Lin Dao friend.
With that, he dragged the soul away and vanished into the void. After Woodkill left, Lin Moyu signaled Little Python to continue the journey, but he fell into deep thought. The soul mark gave him some clues it wasn't from this world, but likely came from the same place as the runes in the Redstone Emperor's body. He didn't believe the human sovereign created it. It must have been acquired elsewhere. The human sovereign achieved eternity relatively late, unlike the ancient Redstone Emperor, so he shouldn't have had access to the soul mark naturally. The only place he could have gotten it was the world beyond that gate. Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with understanding.
It all makes sense. The human sovereign first opened the gate, learned the soul mark technique from the world beyond, then trapped the Jianmu Emperor, impersonated him, and unified the Jianmu Great Spirit domain to distribute soul pearls. Through the soul pearls, the soul mark spread throughout the domain, planting it in the souls of most cultivators who reached the Great Tao realm. The exact purpose of the soul mark is unclear, but the human sovereign's actions must be related to his final step.
At the eternal level, power and fame lose their appeal. The only thing that matters is taking that final step. Every eternal being works toward it, even at the cost of falling into dormancy. The human sovereign is no different. Everything he does is for that last step. But what exactly is that last step? Lin Moyu had broken through to the Tao Lord realm countless times, entering that mysterious level, but each time only for 2 seconds. He could sense its marvels, but couldn't stay long enough to truly see it. What he needed to see, he had already glimpsed in those brief entries. The rest could only be understood by fully stepping in. As for the human sovereign's actions, Lin Moyu had no opinion and didn't want to interfere. He wouldn't make an enemy of the human sovereign, at least not for now, since their interests didn't conflict. As long as the human sovereign left him alone, he wouldn't get involved. Even if one day the human sovereign decided to slaughter the entire Jinmu Great Spirit domain, it would have nothing to do with him. Years passed, and Lin Moyu collected more and more Great Tao origin aura. Desolate beasts kept coming, delivering new bottles for him. Occasionally, a Great Tao Desolate Beast King would also show up, bringing even better bottles from across billions of miles. Lin Moyu's control over the Daos steadily improved. At first, he could only fuse 100 Daos. By the time he reached the Tianzhou Great Spirit domain, he could fuse over 300. The droplets formed from 300 Daos looked the same, but the origin aura they emitted was much denser and their internal power much stronger. The increase in power was geometric, tripling the number of Daos more than doubled the power of the origin aura. Still, Lin Moyu wasn't satisfied. Compared to the countless Daos out there, 300 was just a fraction. He wanted to fuse them all. Great Tao origin aura is the foundation of all Daos. If he could gather enough, it would not only open the gate, but also greatly benefit the great world. A great spirit domain appeared in view after more than 100 years. He finally arrived at the Tianyu Great Spirit domain. Little Python murmured,
Master, something's off about this domain.
Lin Moyu replied,
That's expected. The worlds here aren't strong, and few cultivators enter the soul void, so there are lots of void beasts.
Little Python asked,
Why is that?
Lin Moyu explained, because of a certain Tao. In the real world, this Tao changed how worlds evolve here. They combine cultivation and technology. Little Python didn't understand technology, but it didn't matter. Whatever Master said was right. A world size in the soul void is determined by its cultivators. The more and stronger they are, the stronger the world, and its will can even gain intelligence. But under the influence of the physical Tao, cultivators in the Tianyu Great Spirit domain follow a path that combines cultivation and technology. While powerful, this path is off course and doesn't strengthen the world as much as pure cultivation would. So Lin Moyu concluded that these people hadn't entered the soul void, nor strengthened their worlds. Little Python flew into the domain, sensing the marks of time, ancient and desolate, unchanged for countless years.
It really does seem like there are no cultivators here.
Little Python said,
That's right.
Lin Moyu replied.
Those who stray from the path can't enter the soul void.
He took out the soul refining furnace and began refining pills. Instantly, the aura of the soul void pill and the furnace drew the attention of nearby void beasts. The local small spirit domain king sensed it too and sent its minions. The once peaceful great spirit domain now faced an uninvited guest, one brimming with killing intent. Countless soul flames appeared in view. Lin Moyu chuckled.
Here come the materials.
Little Python roared in excitement. Void beasts were its food. And things like
cannibalism
didn't matter at all. Chapter 3961. I am Tianyu. Greetings, young Lin. The number of void beasts in the Tianyu Great Spirit Domain far exceeded Lin Moyu's expectations. It was a stark contrast to the Shaguang Great Spirit Domain, which was at the other extreme. In Shaguang, there were almost no void beasts left. Shaguang had swept through time and again, eradicating them all. But here, the sky was filled with void beasts, enough to make one's skin crawl. Their numbers weren't just 10,000 times greater than other domains, perhaps even 1,000,000 times greater. This ancient void had never seen cultivators come to challenge the void beasts. Without great Tao contention, even Tao lords from outside wouldn't visit. Over endless ages, the number of void beasts only grew, nearly filling the entire Tianyu domain. The world-burning fire blazed, indiscriminately refining void beasts. The undead army struck from within the fire, crippling the beasts and tossing them into the flames. Though the void beasts were numerous, truly powerful ones were rare. Most weren't even at the great Tao level. Lin Moyu couldn't even distinguish their ranks and had no way to filter them, so he simply refined them all. He harvested a massive number of soul crystals and, without worrying about quality, threw them all into the soul refining furnace to make void soul pills. The happiest of all was Little Python, who only cared for void soul pills, especially triple refined ones. Good or bad, it didn't matter. It accepted them all. With so many void beasts and so many pills, Little Python was ecstatic. Its big eyes practically turned into void soul pills. While refining pills, Lin Moyu also sent a massive number of undead servants out in all directions, searching for worlds within the domain. Although the worlds here were weak, they still existed, and in a very unique form. He tried using a world-seeking talisman, but found it didn't work here. The power of the Great Tao was present, but didn't flow into the worlds. Lin Moyu realized this was due to the influence of the physical Great Tao. Although he had already taken away the physical Great Tao, its effects lingered and wouldn't disappear quickly. With the talisman useless, he could only rely on his undead servants. Lin Moyu continued his grand refining in the Tianyu domain, the world-burning fire never ceasing. After 10 days, the undead finally found a world. Lin Moyu hurried over to observe it. This world wasn't large, one of the weakest he'd ever seen, rivaled only by the world occupied by the Soul Heart King. Yet it wasn't a newborn world. There was already the breath of living beings inside. Outside the world, a faint glow shielded it, making it invisible to the void beasts. It was a sanctuary amid the endless beasts. The world was so weak that it didn't even have a soul world, leaving the void beasts uninterested. Lin Moyu entered. The world was empty, with not a single soul world present. Yet it still felt vibrant, proof that many living beings existed within. But under the influence of the physical Great Tao, even those who became cultivators couldn't enter the soul void. Their paths were limited, and only by combining cultivation with technology could they advance. This path was flawed, a deviation.
Perhaps only the Black Blood realm in the Tianyu domain hasn't gone completely astray.
Lin Moyu thought. The strong of the Black Blood realm could enter the soul void, thanks to the presence of the Lord of Curses, who alone could resist the physical Great Tao's influence. Lin Moyu found the world's origin core. The surrounding Tao mist was weak, much less than in other worlds again, a lingering effect of the physical Great Tao. Not much Tao power flowed here. For now, that was the case, but with the physical Great Tao gone, given time, the core would receive more Tao power and eventually produce more mist to protect itself. He knew he could refine the world at any time, but there was no need. This world was too weak to be worth the world-burning fire's attention. Lin Moyu sent a wisp of soul into the core, The world resisted, but he easily suppressed it and entered. Inside, skyscrapers rose and countless beings bustled about. The world was in chaos without the physical Great Tao. Things had changed. Most advanced technology had failed, with only a few devices still working. Cultivators were less affected, and some were even stronger than before. The Great Tao was returning. Lin Moyu knew that in a million years, this world would fully transform into a cultivator's world. Once their path was corrected, their souls would be reflected in the soul void, and the domain itself would change. After watching for a while and deducing the world's fate, Lin Moyu quietly left. He did nothing further. The world wasn't worth it. Faith power? He had his own great world for that. Spreading the Tao for the world's fortune? This world alone was far from enough, and he had no time for the human sovereign schemes. He was just curious about how the world would change after the physical Great Tao's disappearance, and it was as he'd expected. He could now infer the fate of the worlds in the Tianzhou domain as well. Most tech would become scrap, high-end materials would collapse, and the worlds would gradually shift toward cultivation. Back in the soul void, Lin Moyu continued refining void beasts into void soul pills. Little Python roamed the Tianyu domain, and at their current pace, it would take a year to cross the domain, then another 10 years to traverse the not-so-large vacuum and finally enter the Tianzhou domain. Lin Moyu had lost count of how many void beasts he'd killed. He'd slaughtered them all. Void soul pills were now like candy for Little Python, who had achieved true void soul pill freedom. Occasionally, small domain kings appeared, but when they saw Lin Moyu's handiwork, they fled. Lin Moyu didn't bother chasing them. Killing or sparing them made no difference. He kept the best soul crystals, refined the rest into triple refined void soul pills, gave most to Little Python, and saved a few to trade with the Woodkill World Lord for materials. For a year, the world-burning fire never stopped, and even as Lin Moyu left the Tianyu domain, it was still burning. As they left, Little Python was full of reluctance. This place was a paradise of endless void soul pills.
Stop!
Lin Moyu suddenly ordered. Little Python was delighted, thinking they'd go back for another round, but Lin Moyu simply looked up at the void.
Tianyu Emperor, since you're here, why not show yourself?
Laughter echoed from the void, and a middle-aged man in a purple robe, scholarly and refined, appeared.
I am Tianyu. Greetings, young Lin.
Chapter 3962. Unintentionally doing a good deed. Lin Moyu looked at the newcomer and greeted him calmly.
Human Lin Moyu greets the Tianyu Emperor. How did the Emperor know my name?
The sudden appearance of the Tianyu Emperor was a surprise, but on reflection, it made sense. After all, he'd caused quite a commotion in the Great Spirit domain. Killing billions of void beasts, how could the Emperor not notice? What surprised Lin Moyu was how the Tianyu Emperor knew his surname. The Tianyu Emperor smiled.
No need to be surprised, Lin. Back when you took the physical Great Tao in the real world, we already knew.
He used.
We.
Implying at least one other person. Lin Moyu guessed it was the Tianzhou Emperor. Lin Moyu said softly,
It seems nothing can be hidden from you two emperors.
The Tianyu Emperor replied,
At that time, you were in the real world, so we couldn't thank you in person. Now that you've come to the Great Spirit domain, I wanted to thank you face to face.
Lin Moyu more or less understood why the Tianyu Emperor was grateful the physical Great Tao had affected him as well.
Emperor, you're too polite. I simply wanted the physical Great Tao for myself, and it just happened to help you too.
The Tianyu Emperor shook his head slightly.
Regardless of the reason, you helped us. This is a debt of karma we owe you. I have nothing material to thank you with, but I can give you a promise. If you ever call upon us, we will do one thing for you, whatever it may be.
As he spoke, he condensed a token with Emperor power, inscribed with a special character. With this token, Lin Moyu could summon the Tianyu Emperor at any time. As long as it was within the Great Spirit domain, the Emperor could arrive almost instantly. Such a promise from an Emperor,
Whatever it may be,
carried immense weight. Of course, Lin Moyu wouldn't abuse this promise or ask the Emperor to do something unreasonable. Interacting with emperors required fairness. One shouldn't take advantage of their kindness. Lin Moyu accepted the token.
Then I'll accept it. I do have one question. What effect did the physical Great Tao have on you two emperors?
The Tianyu Emperor explained.
That special Great Tao was located at the center of the Tianzhou Great Spirit domain, radiating outward and affecting both our domains. My own domain was affected less, but it still caused problems with my cultivation. Even innate origin treasures couldn't suppress its influence. Simply put, it made the Great Spirit domain unstable. The impact on the Tianzhou domain was even greater. Even innate origin treasures were suppressed, and the Tianzhou Emperor's cultivation dropped to the Tao Lord level. To keep our domain stable, we were both trapped and couldn't leave. Fortunately, you took away the physical Great Tao, allowing us to recover.
For an emperor, being suppressed to the Tao Lord level was unbearable. No wonder he owed Lin Moyu such a great favor. The consequences had indeed been severe. Lin Moyu had unintentionally done both emperors a huge favor. Lin Moyu said,
Perhaps this is fate. After hardship comes smooth sailing for you both.
The Tianyu Emperor smiled.
Are you heading to Void Kunlun? Yes, I'm going to Void Kunlun, and I'm also searching for a certain place. Since you're here, could I trouble you to help me search for 10 worlds?
He'd always wanted to find the world from his previous life. The discernment beast had once said it was in the Zhenmu Great Spirit domain, but Lin Moyu found nothing there. The human sovereign, who knew the domain best, confirmed it wasn't there. That left a few possibilities. The discernment beast was mistaken, which was most likely, it had lied, unlikely, or the world had vanished for some reason, possibly related to the green-robed old man. If the world wasn't in Zhenmu, the only other options were Tianyu or Tianzhou. He wasn't sure if his old world had cultivators. If it did, it was probably in Tianyu. If not, then Tianzhou. He wasn't obsessed with finding it, just nostalgic and curious.
It's a star world. I'm not sure if there are cultivators. If there are, they're not strong. On one of the planets, there's a country called Huaxia.
The Tianyu Emperor nodded.
That will be hard to find, but I'll do my best.
Such a nondescript world, with an unremarkable planet and a country named Huaxia, would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. Lin Moyu said,
No need to force it. Thank you, Tianyu Emperor.
The Tianyu Emperor chuckled.
It's nothing. If I find anything, I'll let you know right away.
Lin Moyu nodded, bid farewell, and set out for the Tianzhou Great Spirit domain. The journey to Void Kunlun was long, requiring him to cross both domains and then fly for decades more. If his cultivation were higher, like an emperor or an eternal being, travel would be much easier. Life returned to normal for Lin Moyu, fusing Daos and producing Great Tao origin aura along the way. The soul refining furnace never stopped burning, and he still had a mountain of soul crystals to refine. 10 years passed in a flash. Along the way, he killed a dozen desolate beasts and 2 beast kings. He noticed that in this vacuum, the number of beasts had dropped, now only 1 or 2 a year, compared to 1 a month before. He suspected this was due to the lingering influence of the physical Great Tao. After 10 years, Lin Moyu reached the Tianzhou Great Spirit domain. It seemed even older than Tianyu, with a stifling atmosphere. The power of the Great Tao was extremely thin, both in the soul void and the real world. The local beings couldn't cultivate at all. Upon entering the Tianzhou domain, countless soul flames appeared in the void, just as many void beasts as in Tianyu, making it another feast for Lin Moyu. He followed his planned route, checking several worlds along the way. The changes matched his expectations. Once proud technological achievements were now mostly useless, with only a few surviving. Technology was collapsing, and theology was rising. In some worlds, people declared,
Science is dead, long live theology. The end of science is theology.
The transformation had begun, but would take a long time. The technological path was gone for good. As he crossed the Tianzhou domain, slaughtering void beasts, Little Python was the most excited of all. The Tianzhou Emperor, knowing Lin Moyu's route, waited outside the domain. When Lin Moyu emerged, he met the Tianzhou Emperor, who, like the Tianyu Emperor, thanked him and offered a similar promise. Lin Moyu also asked him to help search for his previous world, though he knew it was a long shot. He still hoped to try. Chapter 3963. The Great Spirit Domain disappeared. Just as the Tianyu Emperor had said, the Tianzhou Emperor was the most deeply affected by the physical Great Tao. Although the body of the physical Great Tao existed only in the real world, its influence extended into the soul void, especially because its position corresponded exactly to the center of the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain. As a result, the Tianzhou Emperor was the most affected, and his power within the domain was once suppressed to the Tao Lord level. The entire Great Spirit Domain became unstable, and only with all his strength and the help of innate origin treasures could he barely maintain it. This lasted for countless ages, and the Tianzhou Emperor had truly had enough. Lin Moyu's removal of the physical Great Tao finally freed him, and it was a tremendous favor. Little Python was puzzled.
Can an emperor really be so fragile?
It didn't understand after all, emperors were the strongest in the soul void, at the eternal level, and with innate origin treasures, even eternal beings who had entered the return to origin land might not be able to defeat them. So how could a single great Tao suppress the Tianyu and Tianzhou emperors so badly? Lin Moyu explained.
Emperors are strong, but they have their flaws, due to inherent limitations. Their Taos are incomplete in two ways. First, unlike cultivators, emperors don't comprehend and cultivate their Taos. They are innately powerful for various reasons. Second, emperors only comprehend the virtual aspect of the Tao. Only by combining virtual and real can one truly master a Tao. That's why the God of Light could try to use the physical Great Tao to achieve eternity, while the emperors could only be suppressed.
Lin Moyu tossed some void soul pills to Little Python.
Let's get moving, still a few decades to go.
Little Python responded, ate the pills, and sped forward. According to the Spirit Domain disc given by the Redstone Emperor, after passing through the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain, they would reach the central region of the Soul Void. Beyond this vacuum lay the Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain. The vacuum was not small. It would take Little Python about 30 years to cross at its current speed. Along the way, Lin Moyu continued collecting Great Tao Origin Aura, his proficiency increasing, and the number of Taos he could fuse grew. He noticed that the Great Tao power here was becoming richer, with more types more complete. The Soul Void's Great Tao power came from the Origin Ancestral Land, and the boundary between the Origin Ancestral Land and the Soul Void was within the Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain. Naturally, the closer to Kunlun, the richer and more orderly the Tao power became. As the Tao power grew richer, Lin Moyu also noticed that the desolate beasts had disappeared. Not only that, but even the conflicts between great Tao powers were fading. The dazzling bursts of Tao power were vanishing, replaced by countless colored threads spreading out in an orderly fashion. Lin Moyu admired the change.
So, the closer you get to the source, the more orderly the Tao power becomes. Farther away, external influences cause the Tao power to change and become incompatible.
With the Tao so ordered, Lin Moyu's work became easier, fusion was smoother, and he could fuse more Taos at once. 30 years passed in a flash. In Lin Moyu's sight, a pitch-black Great Spirit Domain appeared. All the great Tao power in view came from this domain, yet it was like a devouring black hole, exuding a chilling aura. In his perception, there was not a hint of life within. Lin Moyu murmured,
Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain, the chief of the 9 Great Spirit Domains, finally arrived.
Little Python frowned, feeling extremely uneasy. The place gave it a bad feeling. If not for Lin Moyu, it would have turned and fled. Lin Moyu observed Void Kunlun, recalling what the Redstone Emperor had said. Since the Kunlun Emperor boarded the Ferry of Calamity, the domain had been sealed. The Redstone Emperor had visited a few times, but that was countless years ago. Later, for unknown reasons, the seal became stronger. Even the Redstone Emperor found it difficult to enter. Once, after entering, he was injured, and with his own body's problems worsening, he never returned. Lin Moyu analyzed.
The Kunlun Emperor didn't fall, which is why no new emperor appeared in Void Kunlun. Something special appeared inside like void beasts, but not quite. These things devoured all the worlds inside, and the domain was sealed off. Now Void Kunlun has become a giant prison, The seal is to prevent these things from escaping, and only the Kunlun Emperor could have known and had the power to do this. But how did he know? What happened when he took that half-step long ago?
As Lin Moyu pondered, Void Kunlun suddenly vanished before his eyes gone without a trace. Little Python was stunned.
How did it disappear?
Lin Moyu was also puzzled. Such a vast domain vanished without warning. He flew to where it had been now just empty vacuum, nothing blocking him. It wasn't just invisible, it was truly gone. There weren't many things Lin Moyu couldn't understand anymore, but this was one of them. Though the domain was gone, great Tao power still existed. Lin Moyu muttered,
Looks like I'll have to follow the direction of the Tao power.
The red line continued for half a month, yet nothing appeared.
Stop!
Lin Moyu called. Little Python stopped.
Master, did you find anything?
After half a month, they'd found nothing, no idea where the domain had gone. Lin Moyu summoned an undead servant to stand guard, then said,
Continue.
Little Python nodded and kept following the red line. Lin Moyu sensed himself getting farther from the undead servant. They flew for several more days, until he could no longer sense the servant's presence.
It's not a formation, nor a virtual real realm.
Lin Moyu mused. He thought he was caught in some formation or illusion, but that wasn't the case. If it were, flying in one direction would eventually bring him back to the start, or he'd be unable to move. But now, he was far from the servant. No formation could be so vast.
If not a formation, then what?
Lin Moyu truly couldn't figure it out. A month after Void Kunlun's disappearance, Chapter 3964, Seeking Cause, Asking Effect. Suddenly, Little Python shouted,
Master, Void Kunlun.
The Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain, which had disappeared for a month, reappeared this time in a completely different location. Lin Moyu's expression grew serious. At the same moment Void Kunlun appeared, the red line he'd been following along the Great Tao abruptly shifted direction, now pointing straight to the newly appeared Void Kunlun. Doubt filled Lin Moyu's heart.
How could this be?
What was happening defied comprehension. The red line pointed to the source of the Great Tao, in truth, the origin ancestral land. Even if Void Kunlun could change its position, the origin ancestral land shouldn't move unless Void Kunlun was carrying the origin ancestral land with it. There was no other explanation. Little Python didn't think that deeply.
It vanished for so long, why did it suddenly reappear? Master, should we go take a look?
Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
Let's go have a look, but just to the edge, don't go in.
Little Python immediately flew to the border of Void Kunlun. Lin Moyu reached out to touch the boundary. Unlike other spirit domains, Void Kunlun was completely sealed. Its boundary was as hard as metal. Lin Moyu applied a bit of force. Instantly, an overwhelming power blasted him, sending him flying hundreds of miles. Little Python turned in surprise.
Master, what happened?
It hadn't sensed Lin Moyu do anything, yet he was suddenly flung away. Lin Moyu said,
Back up.
Little Python obediently retreated far, far away. Lin Moyu gathered himself and struck with a palm. Although it wasn't the great Tao world extinguishing palm, as a Tao lord, his palm was still powerful. The strike hit the domain's boundary with a thunderous boom, but the palm print rebounded at 10 times the speed, locking onto Lin Moyu with a force tied to causality. Ordinary methods couldn't dodge it. He managed to evade to the side, but the rebounding palm still struck him, sending him flying millions of miles. Little Python hurried after him, worried.
Master, are you all right?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I'm fine. I'll try again. You go even farther back, much farther.
Little Python knew Lin Moyu was getting serious and retreated even further. From millions of miles away, Lin Moyu observed Void Kunlun. The force that had rebounded at him was about 100 times his own attack, and it was locked by cause and effect. He had countless undead servants to share the damage, so he wasn't worried about injury, but the next strike might be different. Origin's secret art. Gather power. His aura soared, breaking through the Tao Lord realm, the great Tao shining brilliantly before him.
Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm.
He struck with only 30% of his strength. He dared not use full force, lest the rebound destroy him. This was just a test. 30% was enough to see the domain's reaction, especially since his power surpassed the eternal level. Boom! The palm landed on the void Kunlun boundary this time. There was no rebound. The boundary absorbed all the force, and the entire domain trembled, then vanished again.
It's gone again.
Little Python cried, baffled. Lin Moyu frowned. Once again, void Kunlun had vanished without leaving a trace. As it disappeared, the red line abruptly changed direction this time, pointing somewhere completely different from before. Lin Moyu realized that following the Great Tao's power to find the origin ancestral land or void Kunlun was unrealistic.
It seems its true void Kunlun isn't just sealed, it's also untraceable.
According to the Redstone Emperor, after void Kunlun was sealed, only he could enter because of his special relationship with the Kunlun Emperor, who left him a way in. For everyone else, whether Emperor or Eternal Cultivator, entry was impossible. Lin Moyu was resigned.
I'd hoped to find void Kunlun with my own skills, but it's not possible.
He took out the Spirit Domain Disc from the Redstone Emperor. Its indicated direction for void Kunlun was completely different from the red lines. Lin Moyu trusted the disc more than his own red line, but he was curious why the discrepancy. He pulled out the cause-seeking ring, a treasure given to him by the Three Lives Buddha Lord, though the latter had been reluctant to part with it. The ring's purpose was to seek cause and ask effect, and now was the perfect time to use it. Injecting his soul power, the ring activated, expanding in the void. Lin Moyu focused his mind.
Seek cause, ask effect.
A light screen appeared within the ring, showing a scene. A great spirit domain void Kunlun flickering in and out of existence. Then a third void Kunlun appeared. Dozens of void Kunluns appeared across the world, each identical. After a while, some vanished and others appeared elsewhere. The domains kept shifting, their number and location constantly changing. Only one domain remained unchanged from beginning to end.
Projections.
Lin Moyu instantly understood all the void Kunluns he'd encountered were projections. The projections were so real they fooled even his senses. His red line pointed to the nearest projection, while the spirit domain disc pointed to the true body of void Kunlun.
This must be the Kunlun Emperor's doing using projections to distract the curious. What a brilliant trick, even I was fooled.
If not for the spirit domain disc, he'd never have found the real void Kunlun. If not for the cause-seeking ring, he'd never have understood what was happening. Now he finally understood. Suddenly, Lin Moyu felt a wave of weakness, an urge to sleep. Little Python's anxious cries echoed in his ears as his consciousness faded and his soul silently disintegrated. In a flash of purple light, his soul was reborn. Lin Moyu awoke, startled.
I didn't expect the price of seeking cause and effect to be so steep.
Soul annihilation was the cost after all. He'd glimpsed such a grand secret, so the price was fitting. He was long used to soul collapse. This was nothing new. He put away the cause-seeking ring and headed in the direction indicated by the spirit domain disc, toward the true void Kunlun. On the way, little Python couldn't help but ask,
What's in void Kunlun that it has to be sealed up?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
It can't be anything peaceful. Even the Redstone Emperor was injured and got into trouble there, and that was ages ago. After all these eons, the danger inside must be even greater.
Little Python was startled.
Wow, even an emperor got hurt? Master, do we really have to go?
Lin Moyu glanced at it.
You don't have to go.
Chapter 3965. The Strange Wraith. Little Python shivered.
Go? How could I not go? Little Python must serve Master loyally. No complaints, no regrets.
Lin Moyu's gaze was so cold that little Python was scared half to death. Seeing Lin Moyu say nothing more, it realized it had said the wrong thing and dared not speak again, focusing on the journey. The true body of the void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain was still far away. With the guidance of the Spirit Domain Disc, Lin Moyu precisely followed the indicated direction, passing several projections along the way. Little Python didn't stop, just circled around them and pressed on. Finally, after 10 years, they arrived at the true Void Kunlun. At first glance, it looked no different from the projections seen before. But upon closer inspection, the seal here was much stronger, at least thousands of times stronger than the projections. Lin Moyu had already tested the projections. This time, he knew that unless he used his full power with the Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm, he couldn't break the boundary. After all, the seal was set by the Kunlun Emperor, who had already taken a half-step beyond eternity, far stronger than Lin Moyu, who could only stay in that realm for 2 seconds. He took out a stone given by the Redstone Emperor and placed it on the spirit domain disk. The disk immediately changed, and a winding red line shot out, tracing the edge of Void Kunlun and stretching into the distance. Little Python followed it. After more than 10 days, they reached their destination. The red line stopped at a certain point on the domain's edge, pointing in a direction. This was the Redstone Emperor's private passage, a backdoor left for him by the Kunlun Emperor. On the surface, this spot was no different from elsewhere. But when Lin Moyu reached out to touch it, a sudden suction pulled him and Little Python inside. Lin Moyu didn't resist and allowed the force to drag them into the domain. The world spun, and the power of the Great Tao instantly grew dense.
So much Great Tao power!
Lin Moyu exclaimed. Here, the Great Tao power was at least 10 times more abundant than outside. The seal hadn't just closed off the domain. It had also trapped much of the Great Tao power within. Little Python was amazed.
Such strong power!
Lin Moyu was surprised.
You can sense the Great Tao power?
Little Python quickly shook its head.
Not the Great Tao power, but the kind of void force found in chaotic mists.
Void beasts grow by absorbing void force from chaotic mists. There was no chaotic mist here, but the void force was thick. Unfortunately, Little Python had outgrown that stage, so it was useless now. Lin Moyu didn't act immediately, instead observing his surroundings.
Do you feel that this great spirit domain is different from others?
Little Python sniffed around, pretending to look, then said,
Maybe a little different.
Lin Moyu snorted.
Then tell me, what's different?
Little Python realized it had been tricked and blurted.
If Master says it's different, it must be. I trust you.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Not only is the Great Tao power abundant here, but the space is very stable. In short, this domain is a higher level than the others.
He summoned the Space Tao Lich, the best at sensing space. After a moment, the Space Tao Lich reported.
The space here is at least 10 times more stable than normal. It's not just because of the space Great Tao, but because so many other Taos are intertwined, producing a unique stabilizing effect.
Lin Moyu agreed. Little Python still didn't get it.
But what's the use of stable space?
Lin Moyu explained.
If I'm right, stable space can hold much greater power. After taking a half step beyond eternity, the Kunlun Emperor's power changed. Normal space couldn't contain him and would reject him. So he had to prepare a stronger, more stable space for himself.
Little Python asked.
So, is it ready now?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Let's test it and see.
He let his aura rise, origin energy spilling out. His idea was simple. He'd know if it worked once he entered that realm. Instantly, he stepped into that level and carefully sensed the space. Normally, space in the soul void would try to expel him at that level, unable to contain the power, risking collapse. But now, though still repelled, it was much better than outside. If he reined in his power, he could stay here.
It seems the Kunlun Emperor is altering the space he wants to return.
Stabilizing space isn't easy. It takes great skill and endless time. The Kunlun Emperor entered the Ferry of Calamity to avoid being expelled by space. His methods were truly impressive. Lin Moyu's soul shattered, purple light flashed, and after 3 rounds of rebirth, he stabilized. He was used to this by now. He glanced at the spirit domain disk. It was now useless. Next, he needed to find the domain's core, and this time he could follow the Great Tao power directly. Let's go inside. His words trailed off as he looked ahead. Something was approaching. The space Tao Lich noticed a moment later.
Master, something's coming.
Little Python was the slowest to react, but when it did, it shuddered.
Whatever's coming is disgusting, worse than a desolate beast.
Lin Moyu frowned.
A strange wraith.
With the eye of the undead, he saw a bizarre soul flame, purple-blue and constantly twisting, unnervingly strange. This was the strange wraith the Redstone Emperor had warned about, the kind that had once given him a hard time. The wraith appeared, and Lin Moyu's expression changed. It had taken on the form of Meng Anwen.
Die.
His face darkened. For this thing to impersonate Meng Anwen was intolerable. His undead servants attacked, unleashing countless strikes. With the abundant great Tao power here, even the undead were stronger. Countless attacks rained down, all sorts of Taos striking the wraith. It didn't dodge or resist, simply taking every hit, but nothing affected it. Then it raised its hand, and a small tower appeared identical to the Divine Xia Tower. Not only had it taken Meng Anwen's form, it had even recreated the Divine Xia Tower. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. This thing had probed his memories. To do so silently was truly bizarre.
Space shred.
The space Tao Lich acted, tearing space apart, and the wraith was shredded along with it. Chapter 3966. Sudden Sympathy. Space shattered, and the strange wraith was reduced to dust. But in the next instant it reappeared nearby, still in the form of Meng Anwen, still holding the
Divine Xia Tower.
The tower flew out, countless runes flickering as a formation erupted. Endless lightning crashed down toward Lin Moyu. The sword Tao Lich appeared in front of Lin Moyu, transforming into a giant sword to block the lightning. The force was tremendous. The sword Tao Lich trembled violently, more so than from any attack by a great Tao Lord, showing just how powerful this enemy's strike was. Although it mimicked Meng Anwen and the Divine Xia Tower, the level of attack was on a completely different scale. Lin Moyu's face darkened. This thing had probed his memories and taken the form of the person he respected most.
Courting death.
Undead servants attacked relentlessly, but none of their attacks had any effect. The space Tao Lich's first attack worked, but on the second attempt, the space around the wraith shattered while its own area remained untouched. It had become immune to the space great Tao. This bizarre foe made Lin Moyu both angry and wary. He unleashed the world-burning fire, which exploded in the void. The wraith screamed sharply. The Divine Xia Tower instantly shattered, and the wraith vanished into smoke. Through the eye of the undead, Lin Moyu saw its soul flame fleeing at incredible speed. As it turned to smoke, the world-burning fire wrapped around it was extinguished. Lin Moyu withdrew the fire, his gaze grave.
Even the world-burning fire can be extinguished. No wonder the Redstone Emperor suffered so badly against these things. Its attacks are powerful, and it can become immune to all sorts of great Tao attacks. Even if the Redstone Emperor's methods worked, their effect would be greatly reduced. Plus, it can probe memories and mimic someone to launch even stronger attacks. Fighting it is like facing your most familiar person, an extremely unsettling feeling. Its attacks are stronger than a great Tao Lord's, and if it's weaker than an eternal being, it isn't by much. And this is just the first encounter. Who knows what other tricks it has?
Little Python whispered.
Master, what is that thing?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I don't know, but I'm sure it's not from this world.
Its soul flame was alien, unlike any being of this world. That's why he let the space Tao Lich attack with full force. For a being not of this world, there would be no heavenly punishment. But the space Tao Lich's attack soon became useless, showing that this world's Taos had little effect on it. Fortunately, the world-burning fire worked. It exists outside the Taos, and its effect on soul entities is extraordinary. Lin Moyu mused.
Besides the world-burning fire, the great Tao world-extinguishing palm should also work.
The palm, though sourced from the Taos, was beyond their scope. He hadn't tried it yet, but based on experience, he was confident. The Kunlun Emperor had used power beyond eternity to trap these things, and the world-extinguishing palm was at a similar level. If it could trap them, it could kill them. He roughly guessed why the Kunlun Emperor had done all this, though he had no proof. He was probably right. Since there was a way to deal with these creatures, Lin Moyu was no longer worried. He left a mark at the entrance and headed for the domain center. Along the way, there were no worlds at all, but the domain didn't radiate ancientness like the Redstone Emperor's region. This meant there had once been worlds here, and not a few. Those worlds had cultivators who entered the soul void, bringing new energy and breaking the ancient stillness. But now all those worlds were gone. There weren't even void beasts or desolate beasts. This place was emptier than the vacuum. Little Python said,
So strange, not even a single void beast.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
That's normal.
Little Python asked,
Master, have you figured it out? Can you tell me?
Its curiosity burned, eyes full of gossip. It had gone from nervous to disgusted to now adapted. Lin Moyu said,
Just a guess, not certain.
Little Python replied,
That's fine, just treat it as a story.
Lin Moyu explained,
The Kunlun Emperor took a half step beyond eternity. He should have left, but instead tried to remake this domain as his own refuge. The process takes ages and can't be disturbed, so he sealed the void Kunlun Great Spirit domain and went into the Fairy of Calamity. During the transformation, nothing should disturb him, not worlds, not void beasts. But he couldn't destroy the worlds himself, so somehow, these creatures appeared.
Little Python was shocked.
So, all the worlds and void beasts here were wiped out by those things?
Lin Moyu said,
That's likely. But the Kunlun Emperor was careful. He sealed the domain so these things couldn't escape. With them here, no one else can get in. Even an eternal being would suffer if they tried.
Little Python asked,
So what about those things?
Lin Moyu replied,
When the space is fully transformed and the Kunlun Emperor returns, he'll get rid of them. So there's no need to worry. I suspect this is all related to his final step.
Little Python frowned, suddenly sympathetic.
But isn't that too cruel? That's tens of thousands of worlds and countless beings.
Lin Moyu said,
To an emperor, sacrificing some worlds for their Tao is nothing. Just like the human sovereign in the Jianmu Great Spirit domain, he set up a massive scheme for his own breakthrough. One day, he might sacrifice everyone too.
He added,
Where did you get this sympathy from?
Little Python shook its head.
I don't know. I just feel bad these worlds shouldn't have been sacrificed.
Lin Moyu laughed.
You never felt sorry when I was refining worlds.
Little Python replied,
That's different. They were your enemies. You had a reason. But these worlds were innocent. I think the Kunlun Emperor must have a way to handle it.
Lin Moyu said,
There are ways, but they're too time-consuming and difficult. He probably wouldn't bother. But this is just my guess. The real answer will only come when I meet the Kunlun Emperor.
Little Python said,
If you see him, you have to ask what he did was too much.
Lin Moyu didn't reply, just gave Little Python a strange look. The sudden sympathy left him puzzled. Chapter 3967. Pros and Cons. Little Python's sudden burst of emotion was completely unexpected and, in Lin Moyu's view, rather pointless. Still, Lin Moyu didn't dismiss it outright. He was also curious about what the Kunlun Emperor's final step truly was, and whether it was connected to what he was doing now. That last step was incredibly difficult so far. There had been no successful precedent. The Kunlun Emperor, with exceptional talent, had managed to take a half step beyond eternity. Lin Moyu believed there were others who had managed a half step, but the Kunlun Emperor was the only one to remain in this world after doing so. They quickly approached the center of the Great Spirit domain, where the great Tao power grew ever denser.
Stop here.
Lin Moyu said. Little Python stopped immediately. Through the eye of the undead, Lin Moyu could see several strange soul flames, flickering and burning wildly in the vacuum. Soon, Little Python sensed the same unbearable disgust and couldn't help but complain.
Those disgusting things are back again. This time, there's more than one.
Lin Moyu saw many soul flames. These were beings even more troublesome than great Tao lords, and there were quite a few of them. Soon they appeared in view. Lin Moyu frowned deeply. Every one of these beings had transformed into someone he knew well. Yan Guangxing, Bai Yuan, Dao Lord Hao, Xiao Zhantian, Ning Yijian, and more. Anyone Lin Moyu was familiar with, they could become. Just the memory-probing aspect was revolting enough. They not only took on the forms of his acquaintances but also used their techniques and powers against him, except the power level was nearly at the eternal being level. It created the illusion that all his friends and loved ones had achieved eternity.
No green-robed old man, though.
Lin Moyu noted. He saw everyone, even the discernment beast, but not the green-robed old man. He couldn't help but wonder. Was it because the old man wasn't deeply imprinted in his memory? Or was he just harder to imitate? Either way, these disgusting things shouldn't exist in the world. Origin's secret art. Gather power. Origin energy surged, his realm soared, and he broke through instantly.
Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm.
He struck several times in a row, creating massive palm prints in the void. This time, Lin Moyu used 30% of his power here. The Great Tao power was so dense that 30% was equivalent to 50% outside. This was an attack on par with an eternal being's, and in essence even stronger. He had already tested the world-burning fire, it worked, and these things would flee from it. Now, he wanted to see if he could kill them outright. The palm prints covered the sky, trapping these beings with powerful suction, leaving them nowhere to escape. As soon as they touched the palm prints, the strange wraiths shattered along with the void. Seeing this, Lin Moyu smiled.
As expected, it works.
Just as he thought, the Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm was highly effective, perhaps even more so than the world-burning fire. It wasn't that the fire was weak, just that his current fire wasn't strong enough. If it were stronger, the result would be different. In a flash of purple light, Lin Moyu completed a rebirth. At the same time, the wraiths shattered by the palm also reformed and revived. They weren't so easy to kill, just like with the Space Tao Lich's shredding. They could quickly recover and become immune to repeated attacks. But this time, after the Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm, though they revived, their auras were much weaker. The palm had truly hurt them. Repeating it a few more times would surely kill them. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate. Origin energy surged again, breaking through to that mysterious realm.
Great Tao World Extinguishing Palm.
He struck several more times, palm prints filling the void. This time, he followed up with the world-burning fire, thinking the combination would be even more effective. The palm shattered them, and the fire turned into a sea of flames. Before his next rebirth, Lin Moyu heard the wraith's shrill screams. Each voice was that of someone he knew, making it even more disturbing. The more familiar the voices, the more Lin Moyu despised these things. After his rebirth, Lin Moyu's gaze was icy as he watched them shatter and be burned to ashes, finally ending them. They hadn't reached the eternal level. Dead meant dead. Even if they had, Lin Moyu would have forced them into eternal silence. In the void, countless transparent crystals appeared, sparkling under the Great Tao's power. Their bodies, shattered and burned, had been refined into these crystals. Lin Moyu had never seen such things before, but his soul instinctively craved them. They were immensely beneficial to his soul. Everything in existence has pros and cons. These beings could probe memories and imitate loved ones, but the crystals made from their essence could strengthen the soul. Lin Moyu swept up a handful of crystals. As soon as he touched them, they turned into a faint light that covered his soul. He felt as if his soul was now armored.
So that's it. These crystals enhance soul defense and prevent memory probing. In that sense, these creatures are a kind of opportunity, quite a good thing.
There were plenty of crystals left. Lin Moyu absorbed some himself and tried to use the undying flame on the rest, to see if he could turn them into revenants. The undying flame burned briefly and then went out. The creatures couldn't be made into revenants, which didn't surprise Lin Moyu. Otherwise, such revenants would be invincible in this world. He absorbed all the crystals, greatly boosting his soul defense not just with a soul treasure, but fundamentally. Little Python whispered,
Master, your soul seems stronger.
Lin Moyu replied,
My defenses have improved. These things are pretty good. Hope more come.
He now found the creatures, once so revolting, Rather adorable, easy to kill, useful, and the more the better. He wondered what the Redstone Emperor would think of that. Brought here by the Kunlun Emperor, they destroyed all life in the domain, yet now they were the best resource for Lin Moyu's soul defense. What would the Kunlun Emperor think? As Lin Moyu wished, more of these things soon appeared. This time, they didn't take the form of his friends or loved ones, but kept their original shapes. Now that his soul couldn't be probed, they couldn't access his memories. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate. He struck with the great Tao world extinguishing palm, followed by the world-burning fire, wiping them out and refining more crystals to further strengthen his soul defense. After several rounds, Lin Moyu was surprised to find that after using the great Tao world extinguishing palm, the number of rebirths he needed dropped from 3 to 2. He glanced at little Python in surprise, a bit shocked.
My soul really has grown stronger, not just in defense.
Chapter 3968. Perfect Great Tao Origin Chi. Little Python's judgment was right. Lin Moyu's soul had truly grown stronger, not just in defense. Even things he hadn't noticed himself were picked up by Little Python. As it consumed more void soul pills, Little Python's abilities seemed to be strengthening or awakening, despite its realm not changing. It must have been extraordinary in a past life and was now gradually recovering.
Hopefully there will be some surprises in the future,
Lin Moyu thought. As they drew closer to the center of the Great Spirit Domain, the Great Tao power became even denser and more concentrated. Finally, a half-sphere appeared in sight.
We're finally here.
Little Python shouted. This was the longest journey it had ever experienced, and now they had reached their destination. This was the center of the Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain, where the Origin Ancestral Land intersected with the Soul Void, exposing part of the Origin Ancestral Land's boundary. This was not a projection, but the true Origin Ancestral Land itself. The intersection formed a half-sphere spanning billions of miles, from which countless great Tao powers radiated outward like a fan. The Origin Ancestral Land emitted all Taos, containing every type. But as the distance increased, the Taos spread out, so no world could contain all Taos. There were always gaps. Worlds closer to the Kunlun domain had more and denser Taos, making cultivation easier. The farther away, the greater the lack, and the harder cultivation became. Lin Moyu sighed.
No wonder Void Kunlun is the center of the 9 great spirit domains. It's easy to imagine how powerful the worlds here once were.
These worlds had innate advantages, abundant great Tao power, and nearly all types, making cultivation much more effective. Unfortunately, all the worlds here had been destroyed. The Kunlun Emperor had been ruthless. Observing the Taos, Lin Moyu saw many he'd never encountered before. By comparison, his own great world truly lacked quite a few Taos.
Time to get to work.
He began fusing Taos, a massive undertaking, and he couldn't estimate how long it would take. Origin energy spread, raising his realm, and he began fusing Taos. He'd done this countless times and was now able to fuse 500 Taos at once. But it still wasn't enough. He wanted to fuse all Taos into perfect Great Tao Origin Chi, using it to open that gate. It needed to be both strong enough and plentiful enough. Both were essential. If the gate still couldn't be opened perfectly, it would simply mean the time wasn't right. Lin Moyu began fusing Taos repeatedly. With his strengthened soul, he now only needed 2 rebirths to complete a fusion. Previously, he had to wait for a rebirth every 2 fusions. Now he could do 3 before needing to recover, increasing efficiency by about 50%. What he was doing was tedious but crucial. Little Python munched on void soul pills, claiming to be guarding Lin Moyu. Though it wasn't needed, Lin Moyu had already released undead servants and elemental liches for protection. The number of strange wraiths in the domain was unknown. He'd killed many, but not all. They seemed to be attracted by the Origin aura, but moved slowly, unlike the aggressive, desolate beasts. Lin Moyu sensed that these wraiths usually moved in groups of 3 to 5, rarely alone, suggesting a weak intelligence. One thing was clear: they attacked anything that wasn't one of their own. Lin Moyu wondered where the Kunlun Emperor had found these things and planned to ask if he ever got the chance. 100 years passed, and Lin Moyu could now fuse 1,000 Taos at once. For the countless Taos present, 1,000 was still just a fraction, but it was progress. He saw Daos being born and destroyed over time, their numbers constantly changing and impossible to count. The ones that came and went were branch Daos. The origin Daos were relatively stable. Lin Moyu's goal was to fuse all the origin Daos together for truly perfect Great Dao origin Qi. He couldn't selectively pick origin Daos, so he just tried to grab as many as possible with each fusion. Over the century, more wraiths arrived like unkillable cockroaches, one group after another. Lin Moyu killed and refined them, absorbing the crystals to strengthen his soul. His soul's defense improved steadily, though fundamental growth was much slower and almost unnoticeable. Another 500 years passed, and he could now fuse over 3,000 Daos at once. He'd killed countless wraiths, and his soul finally broke through again. Now, after forcibly raising his realm, he only needed one rebirth to recover, making fusion even more efficient. One cycle now took 3 seconds, and with a 20-second cooldown, he could keep going almost non-stop. He wondered,
If my soul keeps getting stronger, will I eventually not need to die at all?
In theory, yes, but in practice, if his soul reached that level, the world would probably reject him. That would not be good, so he realized he couldn't absorb these crystals endlessly. He was nearly at his limit. Still, the crystals were too valuable to waste, so he stored the extras for later. He let Little Python try absorbing one, but it couldn't, no luck. Another 500 years passed as Lin Moyu continued fusing Daos. He'd now been in the Kunlun domain for 1,000 years. He truly understood what
Cultivation knows no time.
meant. He hadn't even finished one task, and a millennium had passed. Now he could fuse over 10,000 Daos at once. He estimated that in another 300 to 500 years, he could fuse all Daos into nearly perfect Great Dao origin Qi. The wraiths still showed up from time to time, adding a bit of variety to the otherwise monotonous life. Lin Moyu had collected a huge number of crystals, but stopped absorbing them for fear of surpassing the world's limits. Finally, in his 1469th year in the Void Kunlun domain, he fused all Daos into one. A drop of perfect Great Dao origin Qi appeared in his palm, and Lin Moyu's eyes grew incomparably strange. Chapter 3969. Fishing for the Enemy. Staring at the drop of nearly perfect Great Dao origin Qi before him, Lin Moyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He couldn't find the words to describe his feelings. Little Python, seeing the origin Qi, seized the chance to flatter him.
Congratulations, Master. You finally fused perfect Great Dao origin Qi.
It didn't notice Lin Moyu's odd expression at all. After a moment, Lin Moyu took something out from his storage. Little Python exclaimed,
So, Master, you already had Great Dao origin Qi?
Lin Moyu shook his head with a wry smile.
This isn't Great Dao origin Qi.
Little Python was puzzled.
Isn't it the same thing?
Lin Moyu explained,
This is the essence of ancestral water, a gift from a senior. I just didn't expect that Great Dao origin Qi would be almost identical to it.
To be polite, he said.
Almost.
But in reality, they were exactly the same. Both looked like water droplets and emitted nearly identical auras. The differences were negligible. After obtaining the essence of ancestral water, Lin Moyu had rarely looked at it, eventually putting it aside. If he hadn't fused perfect Great Dao origin Qi today, he might never have realized what it was. Back then, he was too weak to sense the Great Dao origin Qi. Only now did he realize that the essence of ancestral water radiated nothing but Great Dao origin Qi. He'd spent over 1,000 years painstakingly creating something he already possessed. In fact, the essence of ancestral water was even better. Its quality surpassed his own Great Dao origin Qi, clearly crafted by someone of a much higher realm.
If only I'd known sooner, I could have saved so much time.
Lin Moyu sighed. Both the Great Dao origin Qi and the essence of ancestral water contained all the Daos of heaven and earth. If the essence of ancestral water was fused into the great world, it could serve as a seed, allowing the world to develop a complete set of Daos. Yet Lin Moyu had been ignorant, using clumsy methods to trade for materials and evolve Daos. He realized that anything given by such an existence would never be useless. His oversight was the real mistake. He didn't know that the white-robed elder had once appeared before the discernment beast and remarked that Lin Moyu carried a great treasure without realizing it. That treasure was the essence of ancestral water. The elder had always known Lin Moyu would eventually create a great world and had prepared the seed for him in advance. Unfortunately, Lin Moyu only realized this now.
If the essence of ancestral water is so useful, what about ancestral water itself?
He realized that ancestral water was also extraordinary. He had been using it merely to enhance spells, which was a waste. Ancestral water also contained great Dao power and could help the great world evolve faster, likely as effective as desolate beasts. Such a good thing, and he'd forgotten all about it. Lin Moyu smacked his forehead.
How could I be so foolish?
Little Python stared at him, not knowing why Lin Moyu suddenly hit himself. With a sigh, Lin Moyu said,
Forget it. Let's just focus on collecting Great Tao Origin Chi.
regret was useless. There's no medicine for it. Not even the Lord of Time could turn things back. He began collecting large amounts of Great Tao Origin Chi. The bottles he'd made from Desolate Beast Essence were all used up, so he dumped out the lower quality Origin Chi and replaced it with perfect grade Chi. He filled bottle after bottle. After 100 years, he'd filled over 1,000. By now, he'd been in the soul void for 1,500 years. The origin continents could sleep for at most 5,000 years, likely less. He'd already used a third of that time, so he didn't have much left. Clapping his hands and stretching, Lin Moyu said,
All right, let's check on those strange wraiths. Time to head back.
Little Python asked.
Master, did you find their lair?
Lin Moyu replied,
I have some clues. Let's go see.
Over the years, Lin Moyu had killed countless wraiths and sent undead servants to search. He'd finally made some discoveries. Although there were many wraiths, they couldn't be endless. In the first 100 years, they came frequently, but later the arrivals slowed and stabilized. This meant the wraiths in the Emperor's domain had been mostly cleared, and the new arrivals were coming from elsewhere. Lin Moyu deduced there must be a source, and he wanted to find it. The undead tracked the direction the wraiths came from and pinpointed an area. After half a month's flight, Lin Moyu arrived. There were no wraiths here, nor any passage, just empty, desolate void. Lin Moyu used his origin secret art to release a large amount of origin aura. He'd confirmed over the years that the wraiths were attracted by this aura. Sure enough, as soon as he released it, a hole appeared in the void, and a wraith crawled out, immediately attacking Lin Moyu only to be easily killed. Lin Moyu locked onto the spot where the wraith had emerged and rushed over, summoning the Space Dao Lich. For anything space-related, the Space Dao Lich was the expert. After inspecting the area, it confirmed,
The space here has been tampered with very thin, and seems to connect to 10 distant places. Can you open the passage?
Lin Moyu asked. The Space Dao Lich shook its head.
No, the one who did this is much stronger than me. Also, it's a one-way passage. Things can come in, but not go out.
Lin Moyu examined the spot himself, but couldn't see anything. The Space Dao Lich drew a circle.
The passage is right here.
Lin Moyu used his origin secret art to send origin aura into the circle. The Space Dao Lich's face changed. Lin Moyu nodded and retreated far away. Seconds later, 8 wraiths flew out of the passage, only to be met by Lin Moyu's Great Dao World extinguishing palm and world-burning fire. The palm shattered space, but the special passage was unaffected. Lin Moyu tried several times and confirmed his suspicions. The Space Dao Lich searched the area and found only this one passage. Lin Moyu couldn't touch it. Not even with the world-burning fire, it was untouchable. Clearly, the Kunlun Emperor's methods were far beyond his own. Still, this didn't stop Lin Moyu from fishing for enemies. He used his origin aura as bait, luring wraiths through the passage, killing and refining them for crystals. Chapter 3970. Everyone dies together. The origin aura continued to spread into the spatial passage. Although the world-burning fire couldn't pass through, the origin aura could. Attracted by the aura, more and more strange wraiths arrived. and Lin Moyu ruthlessly harvested them all. By actively luring the wraiths, his efficiency skyrocketed now. A batch would come every few minutes, compared to the previous rate of once every 10 days or half a month. In a single day, he reaped as much as he used to in several thousand days. Although Lin Moyu currently had no use for the crystals, they were undeniably valuable. He planned to bring them back for Little May, Dao Lord Hao, and others to use, which would greatly accelerate their cultivation. In a mysterious void, at a tea table, the green-robed elder and the white-robed elder sat facing each other, sipping tea leisurely. The green-robed elder said blandly,
"He's still as bold as ever, not afraid of causing trouble."
The white-robed elder replied,
"If he were afraid, he wouldn't have made it this far. It's just a pity he realized the value of the essence of ancestral water so late."
The green-robed elder said,
"I told you gave it to him too early, and without any hints. Who could have guessed?"
The white-robed elder sighed.
"Who could have known? He's always been clever."
The green-robed elder took another sip.
"Everyone makes mistakes. It's fate."
The white-robed elder said,
"It's no big deal. As long as he figured it out, it's fine. At most, he lost 1,000 years."
The green-robed elder clearly disagreed.
1,000 years could decide success or failure. Sigh, it is what it is. Let's just watch."
Lin Moyu lured batch after batch of wraiths. In a year, he killed an uncountable number. There seemed to be no end to them. His gains were enormous. A few more years of this and he'd have enough. Suddenly, the Space Dao Lich shouted,
"Master, something big is coming."
The Space Dao Lich had been monitoring the other end of the passage and sensed something unusual. The next moment, Lin Moyu also felt it. A massive presence surged from the passage, bringing a terrifying pressure that made his soul tremble with fear.
"Danger!"
His soul screamed warnings of a threat so great it felt like death itself. Even when facing eternal beings, he'd never felt this way. Eternity was something he could see and touch. This was different. Little Python was trembling too, though oddly, it also felt a surge of battle intent, its eyes sharp as if seeing a mortal enemy. The Space Dao Lich cried,
"It's too big. The passage is too small, it can't get through."
But that didn't reassure Lin Moyu. The sense of danger remained. Then the Space Dao Lich shouted again.
"No good. It's forcing its way through. The passage is collapsing. Go!"
Lin Moyu knew he couldn't wait any longer. If that thing arrived, he'd be dead for sure. The Space Dao Lich opened a space passage, instantly teleporting them a vast distance. After 2 teleports, the area was already gone. Boom! The great Dao thundered, and punishment descended. Though invisible, Lin Moyu could feel it. The unknown being was trying to force its way into this world, and heaven and earth responded with annihilating punishment. This was far beyond anything Lin Moyu had ever seen, a true display of the world's might. He vaguely saw those cold, emotionless eyes again. A roar echoed from afar, shaking his soul. Lin Moyu wanted to look back, sensing an unimaginable battle was about to erupt. But he knew he couldn't stop. If he did, he'd die. The Space Dao Lich teleported them several more times, always aiming to get as far from the battlefield as possible. Soon, they hit the domain's border. Lin Moyu, following his earlier marks, rushed to the exit. Fortunately, it wasn't far. He raced toward the vortex that marked the exit, his mark glowing ahead. But as he neared, the mark shattered, the exit vanished. Lin Moyu was stunned.
"How could this be?"
A voice thundered in his soul.
"Cause trouble and try to run? Get back here!"
His vision went black. He felt the familiar sensation of being cut off from all Daos, unable to sense anything. A second later, everything returned to normal, and he found himself back at the spatial passage. Thunder rumbled, black clouds pressed down, and the wind of annihilation howled. In the thunderclouds, a pair of merciless giant eyes stared at the passage.
"So it was this guy who brought me back."
Lin Moyu understood immediately. The exit had been closed by this being who could even speak. He forced a smile.
"Senior, bringing me back won't help."
The eyes glared coldly.
If it's useless, then die here.
Lin Moyu was speechless. This being was unreasonable. Before, it had only been joking, but now it was deadly serious. He thought quickly.
If that's the case, then let's fight together first.
The eyes flashed with surprise.
Do you know what you're saying?
Lin Moyu said.
It's true, this is my fault. I'm weaker than the enemy, but if you want, I'll fight alongside you. Of course, you'll be the main force, I'll just be support. But if you insist I die here, well, if I'm going to die anyway, I'd rather go down fighting with you. Let's all die together.
He didn't know the true strength of the eyes, but their grave look told him the coming enemy was formidable. Even this being had to be cautious. They could have fought side by side, but if he was being sent to die, then everyone might as well die together. Lin Moyu's aura surged, origin energy spreading, his realm reaching the peak of Tao Lord, ready to break through. He wanted to show he wasn't joking, he was truly prepared to fight. Would the being choose an ally or risk an enemy? As expected, the eyes hesitated, clearly considering Lin Moyu's words. Lin Moyu knew that while he wasn't strong, if he broke through to that level, he wouldn't be easy to kill. At that level, even this being couldn't easily suppress his Tao. He'd be able to fight back. He'd lose, but he wouldn't let the other win easily. After several moments, the eyes finally relented.
Fine. As long as you obey, I'll keep you alive.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Don't worry, Senior. I know what to do.
Chapter 3971. Deserved to be beaten. The eye ultimately chose to compromise. It probably hadn't expected Lin Moyu to make such a choice. Lin Moyu wasn't afraid of retaliation later. After so many encounters, he'd come to understand that the eye had to follow certain rules of heaven and earth and couldn't act recklessly. Otherwise, when Lin Moyu first summoned the elemental lich repeatedly, this being would have killed him already. Instead, it only played a prank. Now was the same. It had rules to follow, but Lin Moyu did not. Space split open with massive cracks, and an invisible spatial passage suddenly appeared. A gigantic entity emerged, its shape indescribable, constantly shifting in Lin Moyu's vision. Whenever Lin Moyu looked at it, his soul would tremble violently. The creature's form kept changing, sometimes becoming Meng Anwen, sometimes Ning Yi. Every person Lin Moyu had ever known or even not known seemed to appear on its form. It could transform into anyone from his memory, and each form carried an intense sense of familiarity. Even Lin Moyu's spiritual perception struggled to distinguish real from fake. His soul was bewildered, and the feeling was deeply unsettling. He knew it was false, but deep down he felt it was real.
Don't look at it.
A thunderous voice crashed into Lin Moyu's soul, shattering all the images he was seeing. Lin Moyu's soul quivered, his face showing a trace of fear. He had actually been deceived at the soul level. What he saw wasn't an illusion, but what the being wanted him to see. Despite all his strengthened soul defenses, he still couldn't withstand the soul pollution from this entity. Purple lightning thundered, carrying terrifying power as it struck the creature through space. Screams pierced the soul even through the spatial barrier. The lightning had some effect, but not much. It only made the creature angrier.
Get back!
The eye's cold voice rang out, and the wind of annihilation blew, forcing the creature to retreat. Suddenly, the Space Tao Lich said,
Master, there's a tiny gap in the space, you can act now.
Lin Moyu nodded. The world-burning fire ignited, shrinking to a tiny flame. The Space Tao Lich snorted and sent the fire into the spatial passage. Boom! The fire exploded, turning the collapsing spatial passage into a sea of flames. The gigantic wraith was trapped in the fire, screaming even more miserably. Like all the other wraiths, it hated the world-burning fire. It erupted with terrifying, strange power, suppressing the fire. This was the first time Lin Moyu had seen the world-burning fire suppressed. The creature's power was truly frightening.
10,000 Dao slash.
The eye's icy voice sounded again. In the void, a giant blade formed, fusing countless great Dao powers, and slashed through the passage. Space shattered again, the passage reopened, and the blade struck the creature. His body was split in two and exploded,
Now's the chance.
Origin secret art. Gather power. Lin Moyu's realm sword passed the Tao Lord level, entering that mysterious state.
Great Tao world extinguishing palm.
He struck with full power, not holding back at all. Whether it would work or not, he had to try. Anyway, there were no living beings in the void Kunlun Great Spirit domain, nothing to worry about. The only concern was whether this palm would break the domain seal, but Lin Moyu doubted he was strong enough for that. The palm print swept past the spatial passage, part of its power following the 10,000 Tao slash into the passage and landing on the gigantic wraith. The creature's split body exploded, and the world-burning fire surged, trying to refine it. But it was clear that wouldn't be enough. The wraith's shattered body reformed, roaring as it split into two, one part rushing out of the passage and into the domain, the other remaining inside. A cold voice said,
"That's its avatar. You handle it, I'll repair the sky."
Lin Moyu didn't know what
Repairing the sky
meant, but he understood he now had to face the avatar. He didn't know the wraith's true realm or strength. In the passage, he couldn't attack, but now things were different. Lin Moyu dared not be careless. His soul shattered, then was reborn in purple light. Without pause, he used his origin secret art to raise his realm again. The only things that could deal with this creature were his world-burning fire and the great Tao world extinguishing palm.
Seize.
A strange syllable echoed. The creature uttered a bizarre sound, and Lin Moyu felt his soul power draining away uncontrollably. In an instant, it was completely gone, and the world extinguishing palm he was about to use fizzled out. Bang! 2 seconds later, his soul shattered and was reborn in purple light. After rebirth, Lin Moyu found his soul power still empty. Unlike any previous rebirth, it felt like he would lose his soul power forever.
No, that's not right. Get out of my soul.
Realizing something was wrong, Lin Moyu's soul shook violently, expelling all foreign thoughts. His soul power returned in a surge. It was as if nothing had happened. He realized his soul had been polluted again, generating countless false thoughts. His soul power hadn't actually been lost. He only thought it had. Even rebirth wouldn't work if he truly believed it. If he had accepted it as real, he would have lost his soul power forever and become a cripple. True and false. When the soul is polluted, one can mistake false for true. Such a killing method was terrifying. Fortunately, Lin Moyu realized the problem. Rebirth should always restore soul power, so something was wrong. With a firm Tao heart, he expelled the polluted thoughts. Seeing Lin Moyu unaffected, the wraith screamed sharply and unleashed a force utterly alien to this world, turning into a silver light that blasted toward him. Origin secret art. Gather power.
Great Tao world extinguishing palm.
Lin Moyu didn't hesitate, unleashing the palm at full strength. The silver light collided with the palm print, instantly shattering it and leaving Lin Moyu no chance to dodge. The silver light struck him, and his soul shattered into dust. At the same time, the palm print hit the wraith's avatar, blowing it apart. In purple light, Lin Moyu was reborn. He felt neither joy nor sorrow. He was bound to die anyway, so it was just a matter of sooner or later. Dying a few times didn't matter. The wraith was also reforming. The world extinguishing palm couldn't kill it outright. The world-burning fire followed, exploding into a sea of flames, and under its refining, the wraith's reformation slowed significantly. Lin Moyu snorted coldly and used his origin secret art again to raise his realm.
Great Tao world extinguishing palm.
The palm struck again, shattering the wraith just as it was about to reform. Lin Moyu pressed the advantage, not giving it a chance to recover. He sneered.
That's what you get for being slower at rebirth than me. You deserve to be beaten.
Chapter 3972. The world collapsed. Relentless when holding the advantage, Lin Moyu never gave his opponents any chance to counterattack. Years of cultivation and countless battles had ingrained this habit. Either don't strike, or strike until the enemy is utterly destroyed. This giant, strange wraith's true body was surely extremely powerful, but only an avatar had entered. Not so strong Lin Moyu could handle it. The true body was trapped in the spatial passage by those giant eyes, roaring endlessly, its soul-shaking cries like sharp blades. Yet none of it mattered. Lin Moyu ignored it all. His soul could clearly sense the roar's weakening. The giant eyes were patching up the sky, and the spatial passage was being sealed off. Lin Moyu fought with ease, even finding time to observe the eyes. At this moment, those eyes were deadly serious, fully focused. It was clear that without Lin Moyu, the eyes would have had a hard time patching the sky while also dealing with the invading Wraith avatar.
That guy must have foreseen this, which is why he kept me here.
Lin Moyu thought. The initial hardline attitude was just to establish dominance. But since Lin Moyu didn't buy it, the eyes had to compromise.
Don't get distracted. That thing isn't so easy to kill.
A warning echoed in Lin Moyu's soul, reminding him not to look at the eyes and to focus on his own task. Lin Moyu wasn't distracted. He was used to multitasking, and only a sliver of his attention was diverted, not enough to affect the fight. By now, he'd killed the avatar dozens of times, and the world-burning fire was still raging, but there was no sign of it being refined. The avatar's body, reduced to dust, kept trying to reform but never succeeded. After a certain point, it couldn't be shattered any further. Lin Moyu's attacks seemed to have reached their limit. The avatar couldn't reform, but he couldn't destroy it completely either. They were at a stalemate. He frowned.
This thing must be at the Eternal Realm.
The previous strange wraiths weren't eternal, just at the Great Tao Lord level. In fact, their real combat power was less than a true Great Tao Lord, much less than an eternal being. Their real threat was in their immunity to all sorts of Great Tao attacks. Redstone Emperor had suffered for this, and even other Great Tao Lords and eternal beings wouldn't fare much better. That was their true danger. If even one got out, almost no one could stop it. Lin Moyu was an exception. The world-burning fire and the world-extinguishing palm could restrain them. As for this giant wraith, its true body's realm was unknown, but its avatar was clearly at the eternal level. Eternals don't die, they only fall into dormancy. That's the common understanding, and it seemed true here. Lin Moyu couldn't kill it, but he held the absolute advantage, and as long as he was careful, nothing would go wrong. Once the eyes finished patching the sky, he'd hand the thing over. Let the big guy hold up the sky. Lin Moyu was in no rush and just maintained the status quo. The true body's roars grew fainter. Patching the sky was almost done. Suddenly, countless pinpoints of light appeared, and Lin Moyu's expression changed as he instinctively retreated. The avatar he'd been suppressing, now utterly powerless, suddenly burst into countless glowing motes, like stars in the night sky. Lin Moyu sensed danger. The space Tao Lich shouted.
Not good. The space here is sealed. We can't open a passage.
Without thinking, Lin Moyu threw the space Tao Lich into his storage, then did the same with Little Python. He'd barely finished when the light filled his vision. Space shattered, completely unlike any previous break. Before, no matter how space broke, it was an internal matter, but this time was different. Lin Moyu saw a projection of the origin ancestral land deep in space, then saw it shatter.
The world is collapsing.
A thought flashed through his mind as he witnessed a scene he'd never seen before. Countless strange wraiths wandering aimlessly, lost. But as soon as Lin Moyu appeared, they all focused on him. His soul felt the gaze of countless wraiths, a chilling sensation. Then he saw the giant wraith, the king among them, staring at him. Compared to what he'd seen in the passage, it was even more terrifying now. An invisible force tried to drag him in. If he got pulled in, he'd surely die. Lin Moyu instinctively tried to retreat, unleashing his soul power to resist. But it was no use. His soul power was being devoured. Gritting his teeth, he used Gather Power, forcibly raising his realm. He had to save himself or die. If he entered that world full of wraiths, his fate was sealed. The Origin secret art activated, and all the wraiths already watching him exploded with activity. Hundreds of times more wraiths turned their gaze on him, especially the giant Wraith King, who stared him down, shifting into various forms. Familiar faces, familiar eyes, all flashing before him, sending chills down his spine. Every gaze seemed to say,
Come over, we're waiting for you. He's polluting my soul, trying to change my will.
Lin Moyu steeled his heart. banishing all foreign thoughts.
Great Tao world extinguishing palm.
With all his might, he unleashed the strongest attack of his life, gathering all the great Tao power left, fusing it with origin chi to push the palm to the limit. This was the strongest strike Lin Moyu had ever unleashed. The dazzling palm print blasted toward the wraiths, shattering space even more. Suddenly, the suction force weakened his attack had interrupted it. Seizing the moment, he sent the world burning fire after the palm, turning the void into a sea of flames. Any wraiths touched by the palm were instantly reduced to dust. The Wraith King suddenly took on the form of Yen Quangxing, wielding a battle blade to slash at the palm, nearly splitting it apart. After that slash, the palm had little power left. The world-burning fire exploded, engulfing countless wraiths in flames, their screams filling the air as they scattered in panic. Lin Moyu felt the pressure ease a bit, then a giant claw appeared beside him, grabbing him and dragging him back. Chapter 3973. I am Zhulong. In his vision, countless wraiths retreated, and the shattered world rapidly restored itself. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu was back in the Void Kunlun Great Spirit domain. What he had just experienced seemed like a dream. The domain was peaceful again. Lin Moyu knew it was those eyes that had pulled him back, otherwise he would have been in serious trouble. Looking at the eyes, Lin Moyu bowed.
Thank you, Senior.
The eyes snorted.
Didn't I tell you to be careful?
Lin Moyu replied.
It was my first time. I didn't know what those strange things were.
The eyes answered coldly.
Those things are called Soul Eaters. The big one is the Soul Eater King.
So they were called Soul Eaters, not
strange wraiths.
As the Redstone Emperor had said. Lin Moyu asked.
Just now I saw endless Soul Eaters. Are they outside the world?
The eyes replied coldly.
You're not qualified to know that yet.
He clearly didn't want to answer, but didn't refuse outright. Lin Moyu thought there was hope.
Senior, is this qualification based on realm or combat strength? If it's combat strength, I'm strong enough to kill great Tao lords, and not much weaker than eternal beings.
The eyes didn't deny it.
In terms of combat strength, you're qualified. But your realm?
Lin Moyu immediately followed up.
Eternity is just the peak of Tao lords. I'm called the Lord of Immortality, and my immortality great Tao is in the return to origin land. Becoming eternal is only a matter of time. Besides, I already know what's going on here, and I fought alongside you. We're comrades now. It wouldn't break your rules to tell me a bit, would it?
The eyes hesitated, then finally spoke.
Since you want to know so badly, I'll be kind and tell you a little. Those things are trash produced by the intersection of reality and void. They wander outside the world, their only purpose to return and devour everything inside.
Trash from the intersection of reality and void. Lin Moyu was surprised. He asked,
How are they different from desolate beasts?
The eyes replied,
They're not the same. Desolate beasts are impurities evolved from the myriad Tao's dirty, but still recognized by the world. Soul Eaters are products of reality and void, not recognized by the world, and are rejected outside.
Lin Moyu asked,
So outside the soul void are Soul Eaters. What about outside the real world?
The eyes said,
It's the same Soul Eaters. No difference. They exist in both the soul void and the real world, and Soul Eater kings can travel freely between the two. But they lack wisdom. Even with that ability, they rarely use it. Their only instinct is to devour everything in this world.
He was still answering, but his tone grew impatient. Lin Moyu knew not to push further and quickly asked one last question.
Why did the Kunlun Emperor do this? The world clearly collapsed just now. How was it restored so quickly?
Strictly speaking, that was more than one question, but he asked anyway, unsure if the other would answer. The discernment beast knew a lot, but not everything, especially not the highest secrets. But this being was different. He oversaw the world and would know about anything that affected it.
You sure ask a lot.
The eyes said, annoyed but not refusing. He lowered his voice.
When the Kunlun Emperor took a half step beyond eternity, he should have left, but he refused. So he forcibly transformed his great spirit domain. The transformation required endless years, but with void beasts and worlds constantly appearing and dying, the transformation would never succeed. So he made a decision. With power beyond eternity, he created a permanent spatial passage, lured in the Soul Eaters, and sealed the domain. His plan worked. The Soul Eaters entered, devoured all the void beasts and worlds, and after 10 million years, there was nothing left to interfere. The domain's spatial level began to rise. Given enough time, it would become able to contain him, and he could return.
This answer matched Lin Moyu's own deductions. The Kunlun Emperor did it all because he refused to leave. Lin Moyu asked,
But doesn't this break the rules? Why didn't you stop him?
The eyes snorted.
He didn't break any rules. Why should I stop him? Besides, he entered the Ferry of Calamity, and who knows if he'll ever return.
Lin Moyu pressed.
Where do those who take the final step go?
The eyes looked at him.
You've asked enough? If you want to know, see for yourself.
Lin Moyu knew he'd reached his limit and didn't ask more.
May I know your name, Senior? I'd like to honor you in the future. No need. You're not qualified to honor me.
The eyes replied coldly, then slowly closed. Lin Moyu once again experienced the world spinning, everything vanishing into darkness. In the blackness, a voice sounded.
I am Zhulong.
Zhulong, he finally learned the name. 2 seconds later, his vision returned to normal. Lin Moyu couldn't help but smile. He'd learned a lot this time. Even though the Kunlun Emperor destroyed so many worlds, he hadn't broken the world's rules. The rules are impartial. They don't favor anyone, not even the Kunlun Emperor. The world doesn't care about such things. The rise and fall of worlds is natural. Even if ordinary soul eaters get in, the world doesn't care. It can handle it. But when a soul eater king tries to enter, the world reacts because they threaten its very foundation. Lin Moyu realized that soul eaters could only devour worlds and void beasts. Once they finished, they'd do nothing more. The world doesn't care about having no life inside. It can always create more. Even as soul eaters devour, changes occur. But soul eater kings are different. They threaten the world itself, so Zhulong intervenes. But even he can't kill a soul eater king, only block it outside.
But why didn't the Kunlun Emperor's eternal passage break the rules? Shouldn't making a hole in the world be punished?
Lin Moyu still didn't understand. Maybe some things could only be understood when one reached that level. But he was sure the Kunlun Emperor's actions were in line with the rules. Chapter 3974. The Woodkill realm has disappeared. If you haven't reached that realm, you'll never truly understand what the rules of heaven and earth are. Trying to guess the Kunlun Emperor's intentions is doomed to failure. From Zhulong's answers and tone, Lin Moyu could deduce some likely possibilities. Zhulong clearly had some apprehension toward the Ferry of Calamity, and it was possible that the Kunlun Emperor, having boarded it, might never return. This led to a question Lin Moyu had never considered before. Was the one he saw on the Ferry of Calamity really the Kunlun Emperor? No one could answer this, not the discernment beast, not Zhulong. Only by seeking the answer himself could he know.
It seems the most unique thing in all the world is the Ferry of Calamity. What exactly is it?
This question was destined to remain unanswered. Looking around, Lin Moyu saw that the Great Spirit Domain had already taken shape. Spatial ascension was inevitable. If the Kunlun Emperor returned, he should be able to reside here. Zhulong hadn't said it outright, but his answers made it clear. There are indeed those who have taken the final step, or perhaps the last half step, and after that, they leave this world. But the Kunlun Emperor didn't want to leave. He must have his reasons.
Why are you so unwilling to go?
Lin Moyu put aside his thoughts and stopped dwelling on it. He released Little Python, who stuck out its tongue.
Master, are we done?
Lin Moyu joked.
At least you're not dead yet.
Little Python grinned.
Of course. With Master here, how could I die? There's nothing in the world Master can't handle.
Lin Moyu didn't explain much, instead asking,
You were acting strange earlier. Why do you dislike those soul eaters so much?
He explained that the
strange wraith.
they'd seen were actually called soul eaters. Little Python tilted its head, thinking.
I don't know. I just feel especially disgusted when I see them, like I want to eat them.
Its gnashing expression was clearly not a joke. The hatred came from its true spirit, deeper than the soul. It could only be said that this hatred was inherited from a previous life. One of Little Python's past lives must have fought soul eaters, maybe even had a great battle. And only those who had taken that step could have dealt with soul eaters. So perhaps, in one life, Little Python was one of those beings. But could such an existence die? Lin Moyu patted Little Python's head, tossed it some void soul pills, and projected a red line to guide the way.
Let's go back.
The mark he'd left before reappeared, pointing to the exit of the Great Spirit Domain. Its earlier disappearance had been Julong's doing. Little Python responded and followed the red line, saying,
If I ever remember, I'll tell Master right away.
The return journey was always faster than the way there. As they left the void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain, Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. This trip had revealed one of the world's greatest secrets. Who would have thought soul eaters existed? If these are the impurities from the intersection of reality and void, then perhaps similar things could arise in his own great world. If that happened, as the world lord, how should he handle it? Destroy them, or let them develop freely? That was a question for the future. This time, he'd obtained perfect Great Tao Origin Chi. If even that couldn't open the gate perfectly, he didn't know what would. Lin Moyu believed that even the human sovereign had never obtained Great Tao Origin Chi, which was why he was stuck at the 9th ring, unable to light the final one. On the way back, he continued collecting Desolate Beast Essence. There was no need to refine more Great Tao Origin Chi, he'd already made enough, and every bottle was full. The return journey was much more relaxed. Passing through the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain, he met the Tianzhou Emperor again. The Tianzhou Emperor was recovering, the influence of the physical Great Tao fading. Lin Moyu greeted him and asked if he'd found the world Lin Moyu had described. He had not. He then passed through the Tianyu Great Spirit Domain and met the Tianyu Emperor, asking the same question and getting the same answer. Lin Moyu wasn't disappointed. Not finding it was normal. There are countless worlds, and it's not easy to locate one. Little Python asked,
Master, don't you feel those two emperors are a bit weak?
Then quickly added,
I mean, compared to the Redstone and Morning Bell emperors, they seem weaker not just because they're injured.
Lin Moyu smiled.
You're right. Tianyu and Tianzhou are both second-generation emperors. That's probably why they seem weaker. Second-generation emperors can't compare to the first in foundation. The first are born innately, ancient and powerful. The second are born later and are weaker. The first have a chance to take the final step, but the second's chances are much lower. The last step is already hard enough. If the chance is even slimmer, it's almost impossible. Not just Tianyu and Tianzhou, but the Golden Furnace Emperor is the same. The discernment beast was right. It's best for them to enjoy their position and not worry about the final step.
Little Python asked,
Master, are we going to the Jianmu Great Spirit Domain?
Lin Moyu glanced at the Spirit Domain disc.
It's not far. Let's go see what compensation the Woodkill World Lord prepared for me.
Whatever the Woodkill World Lord prepared would surely be valuable. Even if Lin Moyu didn't use it, he could give it to Little May and the others. No reason to refuse. Little Python flew through the vacuum, undead servants dealing with desolate beasts along the way, while Lin Moyu sipped tea and collected beast essence. The soul refining furnace kept burning, making void soul pills non-stop. All these years, he hadn't encountered a virtual real boundary. He wasn't sure if that was lucky or not. But now that he had the Great Tao Origin Chi, innate origin treasures from the virtual real boundary were less important. Dozens of years later, they neared the Jianmu Great Spirit Domain. This time, upon entering, Lin Moyu didn't see the Beast Abyss or the Human Sovereign. Half a month later, Little Python reached the location of the Woodkill Realm only to find it empty. Chaotic mist filled the void. Nothing remained. The Woodkill World Lord's realm had vanished. Little Python muttered,
Did the Woodkill World Lord run away with his world to avoid paying up?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Doesn't look like it. It seems a battle took place here. The traces were erased, but I can still sense some lingering battle aura.
There were remnants of battle in the void, but they'd been deliberately erased, leaving only faint traces too little to analyze further. Little Python asked.
So where do we go now?
Lin Moyu thought for a moment.
Let's try the trading market.
Chapter 3975. The Human Sovereign. The trading market offered not just goods but also information. The disappearance of the Woodkill realm couldn't have happened for no reason, and the Woodkill world lord was not the type to simply run away. There had to be another cause. Moreover, in the Jemu Great Spirit domain, the Woodkill world lord was well known, so someone was bound to know what happened. The trading market wasn't far after passing through two small spirit domains. Lin Moyu arrived. As always, it was bustling, with crowds visible from a distance. Lin Moyu took out his market identity token, which immediately began to glow. A voice came from the token.
Immortal Dao friend, come over here.
A beam of light shot from the token, pointing into the distance. Lin Moyu frowned, instantly recognizing the identity human sovereign. The identity token was something created by the human sovereign, who could use it for various purposes. Previously, the token had been kept in his storage space, so not even the human sovereign could act through it. Now that Lin Moyu had taken it out, the human sovereign contacted him at once, showing he'd been watching all along. A trace of coldness appeared on Lin Moyu's face as he flew in the indicated direction, curious to see what the human sovereign wanted. The attention wasn't limited to this place. In the return to Origin Land, the human sovereign had left a mark on Lin Moyu's immortality Great Tao, just like the Lord of Curses, always keeping an eye on him. Lin Moyu didn't know what the human sovereign had seen, but he'd already put him on his blacklist for now. An enemy, not a friend. Perhaps the disappearance of the Woodkill realm was also related to the human sovereign. Following the guidance, Lin Moyu passed through the market and entered the core area of the Jemu Great Spirit domain. A giant tree came into view, the foundation of the domain, an innate origin treasure, Genmu. Atop Genmu stood a simple, unadorned palace. Its doors were wide open, and the human sovereign's voice called from within.
Immortal Dao friend, please come in.
Lin Moyu no longer feared the human sovereign, though he remained cautious as he flew inside. Before entering, he put Little Python into his storage space, just in case. Inside the palace was a courtyard, with trees and tea plants evolved from Genmu, and a wooden tea table. The human sovereign was leisurely drinking tea. When he saw Lin Moyu, he personally brewed a cup, then stood and saluted.
Greetings, Immortal Dao friend. I once acted improperly. Please accept this tea as an apology. I hope you won't hold it against me.
Lin Moyu knew what he meant. It was an apology for leaving a mark on his immortality Great Tao. The human sovereign had known as soon as Lin Moyu washed it away, and perhaps had planned this meeting since then. Still wary, Lin Moyu kept his composure and didn't make things awkward.
It wasn't a big deal, but why did you do it in the first place?
He didn't accept the tea, signaling he hadn't fully forgiven the matter. The human sovereign replied,
I was merely curious how you returned to the Tao. I didn't pry into anything else. I hope you believe me.
Lin Moyu neither believed nor disbelieved, replying blandly,
There's no way to prove it now, so let's not dwell on it. Let's talk about why you called me here.
Seeing Lin Moyu still wouldn't take the tea, the human sovereign looked a bit awkward, but didn't get angry. Instead, he gestured.
Let's talk as we drink.
Lin Moyu sat down but didn't touch the tea.
Go ahead. I'll skip the tea.
The human sovereign smiled.
Are you afraid it's poison?
Lin Moyu replied.
Not poison, other things.
He took out a soul pearl and placed it on the table, making his meaning clear. The human sovereign chuckled.
You really can't be fooled, Immortal Dao friend.
Lin Moyu said.
Nothing stays secret forever. I assume you've already killed Shashing.
The human sovereign sighed, finishing his tea in one gulp.
At our level, moving forward is incredibly difficult. If you want to advance, someone always has to be sacrificed. Since ancient times, countless people and worlds have perished for that final step.
Lin Moyu said.
The last step is indeed hard. If you killed the Woodkill World Lord and even destroyed the entire Jianmu Great Spirit domain for your path, I could understand. I'm not here to accuse you or demand answers, just to find out the truth.
For an eternal being, nothing is off limits for that last step. It would be normal for the human sovereign to kill the Woodkill World Lord. Lin Moyu had no emotional connection to Woodkill, so he was just asking for confirmation. From what the human sovereign had already said, Lin Moyu was almost certain Woodkill was 90% likely killed by him. The human sovereign said,
Since you want an answer, I'll give you one. Yes, I killed Woodkill and destroyed his world. Not only that, the entire Anti-Sovereign Alliance 9 worlds, none survived.
The Anti-Sovereign Alliance 9 worlds, countless lives all dismissed so lightly by the human sovereign. Lin Moyu could understand. If you oppose the sovereign, you must be prepared for destruction. Innocence is irrelevant in the human sovereign's view. Lin Moyu said,
Of the 9 Alliance world lords, I killed 8.
The human sovereign smiled.
I know. Woodkill's memories were clear. Your palm strike was truly impressive.
That strike had, in essence, surpassed eternity. The human sovereign must have noticed, or he wouldn't be so polite. Lin Moyu said,
The details aren't important. You didn't call me here just to talk about this.
The human sovereign smiled.
True. Let's discuss something else. You've obtained that gate, haven't you?
Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed.
You want it?
The human sovereign shook his head.
Don't misunderstand, I'm not interested in the gate.
Seeing Lin Moyu's skepticism, he explained.
That gate has some features you may not know. First, after each use, it disappears and must be found again. It could be in the soul void or the real world, but it's never easy to locate. Second, only one person can enter each time. If you try to bring someone else, anyone who appears inside will die. Even an eternal being will fall silent. Third, if the same person wants to open the gate again, they must reach a higher level of opening each time. You probably know I've opened the gate before, but you don't know I've done it 3 times at 3, 6, and 9 rings. If I want to open it again, I'd need 10 rings. I'm confident, but not certain I could do it. If I were sure, I'd have gone looking for the gate already. It's not impossible, just very difficult.
Lin Moyu was surprised the human sovereign had opened the gate 3 times, from lowest to highest, but never perfectly. Now he believed part of what the human sovereign said. Since he wasn't sure he could open it perfectly, he didn't bother searching for it. Lin Moyu asked,
But even so, wouldn't you want to keep the gate in your own hands rather than let it wander?
Chapter 3976. The Soul Eaters Behind the Gate. Upon hearing Lin Moyu's question, the human sovereign gently shook his head.
It seems Immortal Dao Friend hasn't deeply studied this gate. I once spent 100,000 years researching it and gained some minor insights.
He paused here. To spend 100,000 years researching a gate, few could do such a thing. Lin Moyu understood the implication and slowly picked up his teacup, draining it in one go. This gesture was to let the human sovereign know that the matter of planting a mark on his Tao could be set aside. He would not pursue it further. The human sovereign's smile grew. He didn't want another terrifying enemy. Lin Moyu would eventually return as the Lord of Immortality and achieve eternity, becoming a formidable existence. Originally, the human sovereign could have chosen to kill Lin Moyu and force him into dormancy again, but after seeing Lin Moyu's world extinguishing Palm in Woodkill's memories, he changed his mind and decided to repair their relationship instead. That Palm was too terrifying, both defensively and offensively. Lin Moyu could more or less guess the human sovereign's thoughts. For the information he wanted, some past grievances could be let go, since they hadn't caused him any real harm, unlike the Lord of Curses. The human sovereign said,
That gate is extremely mysterious. I've entered it 3 times and studied it for 100,000 years, but I still don't know its name. Perhaps only when it is perfectly opened and you gain its approval will you be qualified to know its true name.
Lin Moyu interrupted.
You mean the gate has consciousness?
The human sovereign pondered for a few moments, as if recalling something.
I'm not sure, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's just a feeling.
Lin Moyu understood.
Please continue.
The human sovereign said,
There are a few things to note about the gate. First, there are 2 keys on the gate, one on each side. I was able to find the gate twice using the keys. Each key can only be used once by the same person.
Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. The human sovereign had found the gate by chance the first time, and the second and third times by using the keys. He himself had used a key to find the gate the first time, so he likely only had one more chance to use a key, meaning he could probably only open the gate twice. Without a key, the gate could be anywhere, and finding it again would be nearly impossible. The human sovereign continued,
That's how to find the gate. Dao friend, you should get the key ready for the next time. As for how to open the gate,
he described in detail his method for opening the gate, and Lin Moyu realized everyone had their own way, none were the same. The Lord of Hell relied on grinding away with time, using a single type of power to light the 3 halos on the gate. The human sovereign discovered that using many different energies could light the halos faster. By then, he was already eternal and had a large group of followers. He had them contribute vast amounts of power, all kinds mingling together, and open the gate in a short time. The human sovereign's voice was deep and slightly hoarse.
The first time, I opened the gate at 3 halos, which took about 5,000 years. The second time, at 6 halos, it took 20,000 years. The third time, at 9 halos, it took 100,000 years.
Each additional halo doubled the time needed. The more halos, the harder it became. Lin Moyu asked,
Why not light the 10th halo?
The human sovereign laughed.
You jest, immortal Dao friend. Since you have the gate, you should know no one can light the 10th halo. I tried everything over 100,000 years, but ultimately failed.
Though he laughed, it sounded more like self-mockery. Despite all his efforts, he never succeeded. Lin Moyu asked calmly,
Did you discover nothing at all? 100,000 years isn't that long. You could keep researching.
The human sovereign shook his head.
There's one thing I forgot to mention. After acquiring the gate, you must open it within 100,000 years, or it will disappear on its own.
This time limit was a complete surprise. Some might spend too long researching, only for the gate to vanish before they could act. Lin Moyu pressed.
So after 100,000 years, you found nothing?
The human sovereign's self-mockery deepened.
It's one of the few humiliations in my cultivation. I tried countless methods and had no clue. In the end, as the 100,000 years were almost up, I opened the gate at 9 halos.
He drank his tea.
Enough about that. Maybe the last halo depends on fate. Mine just hasn't arrived. What's behind the gate? I've heard it's dangerous.
Lin Moyu asked, shifting the topic to what lay beyond. The human sovereign thought for a while.
There is danger, but as long as you aren't greedy, it won't be too bad. The environment changes depending on how many halos you light. Each time is different. Actually, I'm not sure if it's always different, but my 3 entries were all at different stages, so they were different.
He was very precise with his words, no loopholes.
The first time, I was very cautious, so nothing much happened. The second time, there were some problems, but nothing major. The third time, since it was my last, I was bolder and encountered real danger, but I survived. If you go in, follow the warnings inside and don't mess around. As for the danger I faced, it was a very strange thing. It could become anyone I'd ever seen, use their techniques, and was immune to all sorts of great Dao attacks. My attacks were useless.
Lin Moyu was startled. From the description, it sounded exactly like a soul eater. He guessed the human sovereign didn't know about soul eaters, since he hadn't taken that final step and didn't know what lay beyond the world. The human sovereign said,
It was extremely bizarre. It chased me everywhere, but its attacks weren't strong, so I managed to escape. But it also escaped and now wanders the space behind the gate. Who knows if others have encountered it?
This made Lin Moyu think of the Lord of Hell's experience. Maybe the strange thing that escaped was the very soul eater the human sovereign encountered. Chapter 3977. Soul Eaters with Intelligence. Lin Moyu frowned, appearing to ponder the human sovereign's words, searching for the key point. The human sovereign sipped his tea, letting Lin Moyu digest the information. After a few moments, Lin Moyu asked again.
Do those strange creatures have intelligence?
The human sovereign replied.
Yes, though not very strong, they do have intelligence.
Soul eaters with intelligence? Could it be the Soul Eater King?
All the soul eaters I've killed had no intelligence, only instinct. But the Lord of Hell said the one that escaped is searching for the gate. That means that creature must have intelligence. If it's searching for the gate, it must have a purpose. Maybe there's something behind the gate it needs.
Lin Moyu's mind raced, but he kept a calm expression.
So it has intelligence, can transform into all sorts of people, use their techniques, and is immune to DAS. Sounds very troublesome.
The human sovereign said.
Yes, so mortal Dao friend, you must be careful if you go in. Prepare as many defensive items as possible, at least to buy yourself some time.
In the human sovereign's view, since the creature is immune to Daos, all attacks are useless, so the only option is to delay. Even though Lin Moyu was the Lord of Immortality and his palm strike was impressive, the human sovereign didn't think Lin Moyu was fundamentally different from himself. If he couldn't solve the problem, neither could Lin Moyu at best. He could stall for time. Lin Moyu said,
I understand. Thank you, human sovereign.
The human sovereign waved it off.
It's nothing. Between those of us at the same realm, there's no need to be so polite.
Lin Moyu understood that this didn't mean the human sovereign considered their relationship close, just that as peers, there was no need for formality. As for the Woodkill World Lord, he wasn't even on the same level, and it was a reminder not to dwell on it. The human sovereign's words and actions were always layered with meaning, his scheming deep and formidable. Still, Lin Moyu could sense that the human sovereign had no real ill will toward him. After all, he believed Lin Moyu would eventually become an eternal like himself, and eternals can't kill each other. There's no point in being enemies. Their paths were different, and aside from rare exceptions, there was little conflict. Since the human sovereign had shared so much, Lin Moyu reciprocated.
I have something to tell you as well. The Jianmu Emperor once sent a wisp of his soul to possess me, but I killed it. That was just one time. He may have more soul fragments out there, so you should be careful.
The human sovereign frowned, then sighed.
So you found out after all.
It was his secret, but he knew nothing in the world could be hidden forever, especially not from the discernment beast or the other Eternals. So it was normal for Lin Moyu to know what he'd done. Lin Moyu said,
I just happened to find out, so I'm giving you a heads up.
The human sovereign replied,
Thank you, immortal Dao friend. As for the Jianmu Emperor.
Before he could finish, Jianmu suddenly rumbled and shook violently. Lin Moyu's expression changed and he quickly flew away. As he left, a tree branch lashed out, smashing the unadorned palace to pieces. The palace was made of the finest illusory materials, now reduced to powder. Countless branches whipped at the human sovereign, but Lin Moyu became like a transparent person. The branches ignored him completely. The human sovereign shouted angrily, and a clone appeared atop Jianmu. This clone was used to refine and control Jianmu, the innate origin treasure. As soon as it appeared, it worked to subdue Jianmu, and the rampaging tree gradually calmed down. The human sovereign came to Lin Moyu's side and explained,
Sorry, I haven't fully refined this innate origin treasure, so it goes berserk from time to time.
Lin Moyu asked,
Has it been happening more frequently lately?
The human sovereign thought for a moment.
Yes, it has. It seems you were right. Jianmu Emperor's soul fragments are still out there, maybe preparing to strike back. That's why Jianmu's outbursts have become more frequent.
Lin Moyu accepted the explanation. After all, refining an innate origin treasure isn't easy, he said.
As long as you're aware. If Jianmu Emperor returns, you may have to leave the Jianmu Great Spirit domain.
In the real world, Eternals are stronger than Emperors, but in the Soul Void, especially in a domain ruled by an Emperor, the Emperor is stronger. If Jianmu Emperor returns, the human sovereign will have to leave, and his worlds and followers will suffer. The trading market would also be finished. The Emperor would likely slaughter his way through the domain. The entire structure of the Genmu Great Spirit domain would change, and countless humans would die. Lin Moyu knew all this, but didn't plan to interfere. It was the human sovereign's karma, not his concern. The human sovereign said,
If I had been ruthless back then, I should have suppressed him and sent him into reincarnation.
Lin Moyu didn't respond. The human sovereign might say that, but whether he had the ability is another matter. After all, that was an emperor. Just trapping him was hard enough, let alone killing him. Genmu finally calmed down, and with a wave of the human sovereign's hand, the shattered palace was instantly restored. He smiled.
Destruction is also rebirth. The great Tao of destruction can shatter all things, but also reverse them, turning death into life.
Lin Moyu said,
Your realm is truly profound, human sovereign. I'm impressed.
To be able to forcibly reopen the return to origin land after filling all the slots, relying on one's own strength and wisdom, was no small feat. The human sovereign beamed praise from the Lord of Immortality was very satisfying.
You flatter me, immortal Tao friend.
Lin Moyu said no more.
If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Take care, immortal Tao friend.
As Lin Moyu flew away, he suddenly turned back.
When will you be heading to the origin ancestral land?
The human sovereign paused and calculated.
About 1,000 years from now.
Lin Moyu warned.
Jianmu Emperor will likely return around then. You should be ready.
Great Tao lords must stay in the origin ancestral land for 5,000 years every 10,000 years. Eternals only need 2,000. The human sovereign would soon have to enter, and be gone for 2,000 years, a perfect chance for the Genmu Emperor to strike. The human sovereign said,
I'll leave a clone behind. Even if the Jianmu Emperor comes, I can hold out for a while. Over the years, I've made things pretty solid. Even the Jianmu Emperor won't break through easily.
He sounded confident. Lin Moyu said nothing more and left.